Now, Chad won here in the fog back in May. That gives Little an edge, but he's got a long way to go again today if he's going to repeat. Can he do it? Let's find out. Here's Randy Pemberton.
Chad Little stands 220 points behind leader Johnny Benson in the chase for the 1995 Busch Series crown. If he's going to win that title, Benson's going to have problems, and Chad is going to have to win. If he's going to win today, he's going to have to come from 42nd. You think he can do it? Well, he's going to have to come from 41st today. You came from 42nd in Daytona and did it. What about it today, Chad?
Well, it's only one, it's one spot better than Daytona, so I think, you know, there's definitely a chance. It really doesn't matter too much where you start in this long a race. You got to have some probably more luck fall your way, and you know, pit strategy's got to be right, but everything's got to be right to win a race. So it doesn't matter where you start. It really doesn't. It's just maybe things have to come together a little faster, a little quicker, but in the long run, it makes no difference where you start. Just work through some traffic, be smart about it, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Good luck, Chad. And this team knows how to win. They have 6 victories in 1995. Rick Benjamin.
Randy Pemberton, 40 drivers will line up in front of Chad Little here today at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the All-Pro Bumper to Bumper 300 live on TBS. And it's great to have you with us today. Packed house, sunny skies in the southeast, really for the first time all week once Hurricane Opal blew through. Good to know that the rain is done. We expect a great one here today. The point battle will focus on, and we've also got a surprise pole sitter. Let's go topside, talk to Ken Squire.
Well, thank you, Rick. Yeah, you come here to Charlotte, and you get one of the toughest Grand National races of the year, 3 from the conclusion of the season. Consider that 19 drivers failed to qualify for this event. 44 cars starting field. Todd Bodine, Derek Cope, Reeves, Michael Wallace, Michael Waltrip are among those not in the show here this afternoon. And to Dick Berggren, I guess the question is, this isn't so much a story about racing in this event as it is a story about finishing.
This is one of the toughest races on the whole season to finish, Ken. In fact, last fall, 26 of the drivers who started weren't around at the end. Half of them blew up, the other half of them crashed. It's pretty typical. About half will not finish the race. That could set us up for a surprise winner.
Joining us in the booth as well is the guy who probably knows more about how to win this race than anybody, because he's won it 5 times, sat on the pole 3 times. Okay, DW, how do you get through this thing?
The thing I always found about this particular race, it's 300 miles. These guys come in here off of pretty much of a short track series where they run half-mile racetracks, and every now and then they get to visit these super speedways. Even the engine builders have a problem with a big racetrack like this and running 300 miles. They don't always put the parts in there you need to go that far. The drivers, they're the same way. They think they got an hour and a half to get it done. And so when they drop that green flag, all that enthusiasm and youth and exuberance comes out, right into each other they go, and it causes a heck of a mess, but makes a great show.
Patience is a virtue, and the pole is a surprise. Steve Burns is with our pole sitter.
Folks, here's a guy we can all root for. Bobby Dotter has lost his sponsor, his crew chief. He's down to 3 full-time mechanics, and he puts this car on the pole. Bobby, how'd you do it?
Well, I'll tell you, we were real fortunate. The guys that I do have and have stuck with me have really done a great job. Lloyd and Patsy Kinney come in and helped buy my team this summer, and you know, Hyde Tools stuck with us through it all. And the H&E engine just ran great this weekend, and the car was perfect. I mean, it just went out. The track got real hot, real sunny. We were fortunate to be one of the early qualifiers, but the car stuck perfect at both ends, and it was just a good lap. It wasn't one where you came in and said, man, am I glad that's over. I almost crashed. It was a lap where the car just drove perfect.
Well, Bobby Dotter's going to have some Winston Cup regulars to contend with. Let's go to Larry McReynolds.
Thanks, Steve. I believe I got a pretty hot row here. On the inside of row 2 is Mark Martin's Winn-Dixie Ford. And this is the exact Ford that Mark used to win Darlington, win Michigan, and also run second at Richmond, Virginia. Now, his closest competition in those races was the Mac 2 Ford of Dale Jarrett. Now, Dale's last 3 outings, he has taken the checkered flag first. He won Milwaukee, he won Richmond, and he took the checkered flag first at Michigan. But who actually got the win? Mark Martin, after Dale had found to have a faulty intake manifold. I'm going to tell you guys, I believe this is a row to watch today, Ken.
So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll watch that row and all the others that make up the field for the Bumper to Bumper All-Pro 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway live on TBS.
The All-Pro Bumper to Bumper 300 is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By Texaco Avalon Formula 3 Motor Oil. Take it to the stars. and by All Pro Bumper to Bumper, the auto parts specialists.
Free weather at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina for the All-Pro Bumper to Bumper 300 live on TBS. I'm Rick Benjamin in the Duralube Pit Communication Center. Great to have you with us today. We've got a fantastic field of cars. Let's take a look at our Fram race analysis, show you a little bit more about the event you'll watch today. We'll go 200 laps around this mile-and-a-half trial for 300 miles. 24 degrees, the banking in the corners, leading to very high speeds. More than $450,000 on the line today for the 44 starters in today's event. Also, information we want to show you concerned with the race last year. You see Mark Martin qualifying at almost 177 miles an hour for the pole. Bobby Dotter's speed down almost 5 miles an hour. We'll talk more about why that might have happened. Terry Labonte is the defending champ in the field today. The driver with the most Busch Grand National Series wins at this racetrack. With us on the telecast today, he's topside. Darrell Waltrip is here along with Ken Squire and Dick Berger. Gentlemen.
And we're ready to take a look at the Haviland starting grid as the field rolls out for this 300-mile Grand National race. So it's Bobby Dotter from Chicago, Illinois on the pole, and Tim Fedewa, 5th time he's been in the front row this year alongside. Mark Martin is going to be in row 2, and with him there will be Dale Jarrett. For row 3 today, it's Tracy Leslie and the current Grand National point leader, Johnny Benson Jr. For row 4, it's Jimmy Spencer, and making his first super speedway start, Mike Dillon. Row 5 today is Morgan Shepherd. Won a Busch Series race here way back in '81, and Dennis Setzer. For row 6, it's Ward Burton, and the winner in May of '94, Phil Parsons. Row 7 is Pete Orr, and with him comes Larry Pearson, winner at Darlington and Myrtle Beach this season. Row 8 is Hermie Sadler and Elton Sawyer. In row 9, it's the defending champion of this All-Pro 300, Terry Labonte and Ricky Craven. In row 10 is Kevin LePage, the sophomore from Vermont, and Jim Bound. Row 11, Loy Allen Jr., his first Busch Series start, and Tommy Houston, his 36th Busch start here at Charlotte. In row 12, it's Kenny Wallace and David Bonnet. Row 13 is Randy LaJoy and Marty Ward. Row 14, Rich Bickle and Greg Sachs. Row 15 is Robbie Reiser and Doug Heveron. For row 16, Jeff Green ran second here in May to Chad Little and Curtis Markham. Row 17 is Mike McLaughlin and David Green. In the 18th row, Ken Schrader and Jason Keller, the winner at Indianapolis Raceway Park this past August. Row 19, Steve Grissom and Chuck Bound is back. His first Busch start here at Charlotte in a couple of years. Jeff Purvis and Tom Peck are in row 20. The provisional starters, Chad Little, winner of 6 this year, and Jeff Fuller. Then back in that 22nd row, Rodney Combs and Johnny Rumley to round out the field as we get ready to go racing. Take a look at the in-cars for today. This is Jason Keller. That's the budget gourmet car, giving us this 360 look. And from the roof camera, it looks like this out of Jason Keller's car number 57. And taking a look out the back of Jason Keller's car as we get ready to go. Here's Mark Martin's view of the race. Give you some pretty good pictures today. It's car number 60. And Randy LaJoy will have a camera for us as well back in that 25th starting position. The Duralube car. So there you have it. Those are the in-car cameras for today's race, and we're about ready to square this one up.
Yeah, that 60 car on the 3rd starting position there on the inside. They got 1 to go. They're going to get the green flag next time by here, Ken. But I got a good idea that he and Dale Jarrett are going to pick up right where they left off at Michigan, Richmond, and a couple other places. They've had a couple real goes here lately.
Take a look at who didn't qualify. Glenn Allen Jr. was supposed to have a great program for next year, Dick Bergman.
He's on full-time ride in the number 99 car, which will be vacated by Phil Parsons, Ken. Parsons is going to run his own operation.
Rick Wilson not in there. Patty Louise didn't make it. Dave Mater III. L.W. Miller gave it a good shot. Kevin Ray.
Mikey.
Ed Barrier. And Mikey. Yeah, he wrecked.
He crashed qualifying. Had a fast car. He had a shot at the pole, and I think some of that exuberance that I was talking about may have come out in him. He really carried it into turn 1 and lost it.
Big time. I mean, he stuffed it in the wall. That car is a write-off, wasn't it?
Yeah, he totaled it out.
So we're just about half a lap away from start right now.
And we got some real strong runners at the back of the pack. Chad Little, we've already talked about. He is going to be starting in 41st spot. Kenny Schrader, all the way back in 35th. Mike McLaughlin, he's a good one. He is going to be starting 33rd. This race has been won from the back. Sterling Marlin, 1990, started 32nd and won it. The furthest back anybody has ever won this race, Harry Gant, who won the Hooligan in 1991, started 33rd and won the race.
See, that's a New England word for consolation.
Oh, I wonder. I was just getting ready to say I didn't know Harry ever won a Hooligan. But Harry's won a lot, so it doesn't surprise me. You know, interesting thing, you look at that front row, we got a guy from Chicago, Illinois. We got a guy from Holt, Michigan. Right behind him, we got a guy from Batesville, Arkansas. And finally, we get into the Carolinas, and then we go back to Michigan and Pennsylvania again. So a real mixture of talent here.
Front row, Grand National stars. Row 2, Winston Cup stars. And we're down to see it happen for 300 miles. And there will be no halftime break this time.
I think it'll be a lot better, really, Ken. I think the guys would not. I don't like that. It gives them too much time to mess the cars up.
A little over massaging.
Yep.
Front 4 pull away. Out of 2 and into the back straightaway for the first time. And they open up about 10 car lengths on the remainder of the field. That's Stoddard, Fido, Martin, and Jarrett.
Well, that side-by-side racing, that's what we're going to see a lot of today. These cars are really equal in the 9-to-1 engine with the 390 carburetor lead. Oop, got one up in the wall.
Got it back down as they come to the stripe. A wild ride by this new youngster in the car number 12. Kid that's just making his first go out here, Mike Dillon out of Welcome, North Carolina. Nearly tasted that wall up in 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's Richard Childers, his son-in-law, and he's been running some races, and he wants to move up into the Winston Cup eventually.
Tracy Leslie having some problems here. There's the 08 tucked down to the inside. Bobby Dotter trying to fend off the 55. Tim Fidoa as they fight up in front. How tough is that 4th turn this year? Had a lot of problems there in that Sportsman race yesterday.
It's just gotten rough again, Ken. The sun sets, the sun shines on that corner all day long, every day, and it really takes its toll on the surface up in that end of the speedway.
Dotter's doing a great job hanging on to the lead here. He had not ran a lap in 1995. In fact, you have to go all the way back to Darlington, the first Darlington of 1994, to record his first lap lead, but there he is out in front. And he needs to have a good strong run. He's in that 08 car. He needs to have a good strong run to attract the sponsor that's necessary for him to run next year.
Tries to make the move on the ripples in 4. And here comes Mark Martin diving to the inside on Glenn Jarrett, who had taken over in 2nd.
Boy, I tell you, Fidoa, he really put a move on him down here in 3 and 4. He's up on that outside in that white car, and he's having to go of it on the outside. That's the thing that makes Charlotte so good, Ken. You can run high, you can run low, and you can do a lot of side-by-side racing.
Tracy Leslie pulls on the pit road. Detroit gasket car in trouble early. Fidoa still liking that outside line in car 55.
Johnny Benson, the current point leader in number 74, he is running 5th, right in there, mixing it up. I'm a bit surprised. I thought he would take a more conservative approach, given that the points championship is very much up for grabs, and he needs to finish more than he needs to win this race.
But, you know, Dick, that's the way he's gotten the point lead and gotten the big lead he has is by racing hard. He's won racing. We saw him in Dover a few weeks ago. He just drove his heart out, and that's how he's gotten the lead. I think that's how he's going to keep it.
Jimmy Spencer in the 20 making the move, pulling himself up. Look at this battle up in front, stomping into first place. Mark Martin, former winner, pushing his way through on Dotter, and Jarrett comes with him for 2nd. Fidoa dives to the bottom, and he's holding on for 3rd.
Well, that's 3 fast Fords right there in the line, the 60, the 32, and 55. So they're fast cars.
Well, wait a minute, Darrell. I heard a Ford wasn't supposed to go fast out here at Charlotte.
Well, in the Busch Series, they've had their fair go of it this year.
Here's Spencer in the 20, down on the inside of the number 95. The cat car with Ward Burton, giving him much room. Trying to slide in between there. That's back in 7th spot. Ward Burton takes that 7th spot on the outside, going into 1.
Yeah, Ward's really done a good job once he stepped into that 95 car, the Caterpillar car. He's had some top 10 finishes just about every time he's run that car.
4 different drivers have run that automobile this year, and Ward has done as well at it as anybody.
Take a look at this number 2. He has been on a roll coming up through traffic. Ricky Craven in car number 2, now in 11th. Started well back on the field. And he's making a one of those limited appearances for the season.
Kenny Schrader's moving up real well, too. And, you know, some of the folks might wonder how these fast cars got in the back. It really depended on when you went out to qualify. It was cloudy and overcast when some of these guys went out, and they got good speeds. Sunny and bright when the rest of them went out, and they got bad speeds.
Craven gets moved out. Terry Labonte takes over. He had started 17th. And right with him comes Elton Sawyer and Kevin LePage on the bottom. 71 car, the Teddy Bear.
Craven has qualified on the outside pole for tomorrow's race that you'll also see here on PBS. Rookie in the Winston Cup Series, but he's a real veteran in this Grand National racing.
You think he's got the makings, Darrell?
Yeah, I really do. I like him, and I've watched him race, and I tell you, he's a smart kid. And, of course, he bought into that 41 team, his Winston Cup team, and I think that's a good move for him. He's always driven his own cars. He'll have a little bit more say-so on what goes on now.
Leaders coming up to complete lap number 9, working the 10th right now. Car 88 in trouble. It goes back behind the wall. Going to do some additional work on Pete Orr's car in 72. Tracy Leslie is back there as well.
Pete Orr's an interesting young man. He's down in Florida. He's run a lot of all-pro races down that way and won a lot. And he's trying to make a name for himself in the Busch Series right now. And that's a new team coming along real well.
Johnny Benson in 4th, closing in on Fedewa.
In case you're wondering about Fedewa, you may have heard that name before if you're a race fan. His father is Butch Fedewa, who was an outstanding sprint car driver. Said he won't let his kid race a sprint car. Tim says, oh, I'm going to find one somewhere. I really want to feel what it's like to go sideways.
Come on, Darrell. Would you let one of your kids
No, Tim ought to be saying, thanks, Dad. And I really mean it.
Wild man, those folks.
That's Fedewa in the 55, right ahead of Johnny Benson.
And Fedewa won at Nazareth, Pennsylvania this year in grand style. Meanwhile, Spencer is closing in 5th. And take a look behind. There's that number 20, the blue car. And Parsons, he comes up into 6th spot. Going to take a break right now as we're through the first 11 laps. And nary a sign of caution on this one. Out in front, it's Mark Martin with Dale Jarrett in 2nd place in the All-Pro 300 live from Charlotte.
NASCAR is on TBS. Gordon, Martin, Marlin, and Earnhardt. The Winston Cup stars take the track at Charlotte. The UAW GM 500, 1 Eastern tomorrow. You're on the circuit with TBS.
Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? That's better. Excuse me? Excuse me. Nothing better than a steak from Winn-Dixie.
3 out of 4 new car radiators are made of aluminum, thin, lightweight, and under tremendous stress. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone Zone. Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Dear Midas, the brakes on my 4x4 were squealing, so I went to your shop. I came with my Midas guarantee, and I was prepared to fight to have it honored. Your people reviewed my records and inspected my car. Still unsure of the cost, I was told.
The shoes and pads are guaranteed, no charge.
Then my brakes were fixed. I was truly amazed. Thank goodness for honest people. Sincerely, Anna Touchstone.
Tonight, TBS celebrates 35 years of the Andy Griffith Show.
That's an outstanding idea.
The best of Andy. 35 years of the Andy Griffith Show. All night tonight. Turn to TBS.
15 laps complete, 185 remaining. Take a look out here. Battle for the lead. Here's Mark Martin pressing on the outside. Dale Jarrett down on the bottom as they come whistling out of 4 to complete lap number 17. It's better than a full second back to Fedewa running in 3rd as this dice up in front continues between 2 of the Masters.
You know, I thought something happened to the 60 car because he had a comfortable lead over Dale, but
It looks like he's okay. I don't know what happened there for Dale to get alongside of him like that.
Fords in these first 2 spots, as well as Fedewa in 3rd. And for the moment, the Mack Tools car. Dale Jarrett has it, not by much. Here comes Martin rolling on the outside.
Those 2 guys have gone at it hot and heavy here the last few weeks, Ken, in those 2 cars, and they've been putting on a great show. If you remember Michigan and, of course, back to Richmond, they swapped a lot of paint at the end of that race.
Isn't that a great race up there at Richmond? Interval 2nd to 3rd now is 2.7 from that second. This battle for the lead back to 3rd place, 2 and 7/10 seconds. Chad Little in traffic, trying to work his way through. Chad Little up to 23rd. Remember, he started 41st. He continues to whittle him off. There's Jeff Green on the inside, or just in front of him now, and the 33 up there as well. That's Sachs in the yellow and blue car on the outside. Almost 3 wide out of 4.
Tough position to be in when you're looking for a championship, and you look up in front of you, and they're 3 wide, which, Darrell, that doesn't work here, does it? Ooh.
Sachs getting tapped out there. That looked like it could have been real trouble going into 1.
Well, Sachs is up on the outside there. He keeps running that high line on both ends of the speedway, and people are going to slide into him sooner or later.
Boy, look at this, swapping the lead back and forth. Mark Martin in that 60 car, Jarrett in the yellow car on the outside. What a great race this is right up front.
And they lead by 2.7. Oh, we got trouble lane straightaway. Jackson at 33 around.
And Chad Little is in it. Chad Little is in the wall. That's Sachs in the 33.
Chad Little in the wall down just past the start-finish line by about 300 feet. Had worked his way all the way back up from 41st spot, and there's Chad Little's car in the wall.
And there goes a championship right there.
Just about named. Johnny Benson Jr. is champion with 2 races to go. There's his wife looking on.
She can't
scoring for him.
She just can't believe it.
As good a luck as he's had early in the year, it certainly turned sour on him in the latter part of the year.
We'll take a break and come back and look at what happened to Chad Little, Greg Sachs, and the rest here at lap 20 in the All-Pro 300.
Sunday on a special 90-minute Talkback Live, The Color of Justice. I'm Susan Rook.
And I'm Leon Harris. Did the Simpson verdict widen the racial divide? Has your view of black versus white changed?
Join us and tell us. Sunday, 9 Eastern on CNN.
Innovations in Racing, brought to you by Peerless Faucet. Get more out of your faucet than just water. While race day is the focal point of every stock car team's efforts, research, planning, and lots of testing separate the consistent winners from the also-rans. What innovation in racing helps the team make the subtle adjustments that help win races? The answer in a moment.
Leave it to Peerless Faucet to create a shower.
For a 52-week subscription for only $19.95, call now, 1-800-232-1522. And by Winn-Dixie, America's supermarket. And by Budget Gourmet.
First caution of the day, Chad Little's car in the wall. And let's take a look at what happened.
Well, that 33 car had been hung up on the outside there for a pretty good while. Sooner or later, somebody was going to squeeze him into the wall. And, of course, he bounced off and got into Chad. And Chad had absolutely nowhere to go. It's reminiscent of what happened to Chad here last fall. Ken, he had a serious crash here in the Tri-Oval and had some broken bones from that one. So at least he can walk away from this one.
Broke his shoulder, broke his leg about 300 feet from where it ends today.
Yep.
Another angle here.
He just has nowhere to go. It's one of those unfortunate things. You're doing your job. He's moving up through the field very well, but got taken out by someone else's misfortune.
That's the problem of starting in the back.
That's
you
it.
got to clean up in front.
It happens inevitably.
I mean, he had such an optimistic way of looking at it at the start, but nevertheless, you got a lot of metal to get around that.
Yeah.
Well, they may not get the championship here, but by golly, they've had a terrific year. They have won the most money. They have won the most races. They have led the most laps. It's been a great year, and they know it.
Yeah, that's true.
Johnny Benson had to make a pit stop, and he comes back out. Came in 220 flush in the point battle, and now he looks like he's on his way with Rockingham coming up on October the 21st, and then, of course, the finale at November 5 finale down at Miami, that new Homestead track.
Somebody must have blew a tire.
Randy Pemberton with Steve Bird.
green all the way.
Steve, I would have to say that just about sewed it up as we watched Chad's car come off the wall. How does it make you feel? And not that he wrecked, but that the championship is within your grasp now.
Well, you know, we hate to see that. You know, Chad's a great competitor. You know, I ain't saying much about it. You know, we're just looking at it. We'll celebrate the last race and stuff. You know, all I can say is it's good for us. And, you know, we still got a race to win here. We made a decision this morning. It was bad. We just corrected it, and I think we'll be all right, but we got a long way to go up front, you know. And I just want to tell you, this Base Motorsports team is the greatest team around, man. I've worked with a lot of drivers and great crew guys, and these guys are just great, you know. And I want to say hi to my dad at home, too.
Hey, the car was a little loose. Did you take a rubber out of the right rear? What'd you do to fix it?
Yeah, we took a rubber out of the right front, left front, excuse me. That's the only change we did from yesterday. We had a little push in it yesterday. We thought it might cure it, but it was too much for here, so hopefully we'll be all right now.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, man.
Back upstairs.
Johnny Benson on his way to the championship. Chad Little won 3 times as many races with 6, led twice as many laps, but this will be his 5th DNF, and it was the stable and steady run that's made the difference for Benson.
Today's cars are a technological wonder. So many makes, so many models, so many parts. In the old days, one standard part would fit many cars. Not anymore. The search for someone committed to having the part you need when you need it can be downright treacherous. You need auto parts specialists, like All Pro and Bumper to Bumper. At All Pro and Bumper to Bumper, auto parts are our business and our only business. The auto parts specialist. All Pro and Bumper to Bumper.
Oh, isn't that cute? What? You guys are like the 3 bears. You're Double Whopper, Whopper, Whopper Jr., Bing Bang Boom.
I'm hungry, so what?
Well, nothing just sort of struck me as funny.
So what are you saying? I'm like the mama bear?
A Whopper value meal for any size appetite, starting at $1.99 every day at Burger King. That's getting your burger's worth.
Hey, baby bear, you gonna finish those fries?
Yes. Ooh, somebody needs a nap.
In Murray, Utah, a lot of folks like to work on their cars themselves, and they come to AutoZone because they know they'll find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and helpful people like Rick Perry. Now, Rick's been around cars all his life, so he knows a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. And whether it's selling new parts or testing old ones, he's always glad to help. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
Someday in the future, every car will be maintained by Precision Tune. Every brake job, oil change, and scheduled maintenance service will be performed by our skilled technicians at prices that are the envy of dealerships. All backed by our 12-month, 12,000-mile guarantee, leaving tow trucks free to spend their time on more artistic pursuits. Precision Tune, a lot more than tune-ups.
Still under caution at the Charlotte Motor Speedway after a tangle on around the 20th lap involving Chad Little, who we talked about at the top of the broadcast, that he was going to challenge today, try to gain some ground on Johnny Benson in the point battle. That will go away. Greg Sachs also involved in that spin. But now it's time for Auto Week's Week in Racing, brought to you by Auto Week, America's only enthusiast auto weekly. We set up the field for tomorrow's UAW GM Teamwork 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ricky Rudd in his Tide Ford on the pole, and a little bit of retribution for Rudd, perhaps. Thought he had the car to beat last week at North Wilkesboro, criticized some officiating, said that he shouldn't have been brought back into the pits because he was missing a lug nut. He put that all to rest this week by qualifying on the pole here yesterday. We're going to show you some of the other qualifiers who will take the green tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. You'll see it live here on TBS Sports. Rudd and Craven, the lead row. Morgan Shepherd losing his ride, but a good 6th. Todd Bodine, Terry Labonte there. Jeremy Mayfield with a strong 11th qualifying round. Look at Joe Nemechek. He'll line up 15th tomorrow. John Andretti and Ted Musgrave. And the top 20 rounded out by Rusty Wallace, who thinks he may have a car to beat here tomorrow when we go green. Second 20 qualified this morning. And you see some of the names there. Bill Elliott had to try again today. Gary Bradbury makes his first Winston Cup start in a long time, just starting out in that branch of the sport. Dale Jarrett. We see a guy named Waltrip will start back there in 32nd spot. Dale Earnhardt had to take the Champions Provisional, by the way, to make the show here at Charlotte this weekend. Now, as always, call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week, just $19.95. Every week, Auto Week is first with all the inside news of racing, personalities, driving impressions, and more. Auto Week's number is 1-800-232-1522. Great offer ends tomorrow. And Ken Squire, I know you never come to the racetrack without your copy of Auto Week.
No, I get that every week. I like to look at all those expensive cars. And wish you could buy them in the classified section. You ever go down through that classified section in Auto?
I do, and I think about all the cars that I owned, and if I'd have kept, how much money I'd have.
Hey, you stood on your time this morning, huh?
Yeah, it just, you know, we were 26, and all you can do there is shoot yourself in the foot. Better let them guys go out there and try to beat you than to beat yourself.
And I saw you were changing motors down there.
Yeah, we're going to be real good, Ken. The car's good. I got the same problem Chad Little had. You start that four back, you never know what's going to happen in the early going. You got to be real careful.
Getting ready on a restart. 27 laps now complete as green comes out. And as they come to the stripe, it's Mark Martin first, Jarrett second, Fidowa third, Bobby Dotter in the 08 is fourth, Terry Labonte in fifth, Ward Burton in sixth, Jimmy Spencer for seventh. That's Phil Parsons 8th, Morgan Shepherd 9th, Kevin LePage up to 10th, and Elton Sawyer 11th. Randy LaJoy back there in 12th. And how about David Bonnet? David Bonnet, oh, we got trouble on the 19 car, getting that one torn up here.
Wow.
Right on the restart. We're right back to caution. Racing back to the stripe. Here they come to the line, and as they do, it will be Mark Martin out in front.
You know, most of the time, this early in the race, Ken, the leaders will hold up their hand. Everybody respects that, and nobody will pass. They usually hold their position.
Loy Allen's 19, making a stab at Grand National Racing. Trouble in turn 1, lap 28 on your chart.
Oh, he had a little help, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Jeff Green's front bumper and Loy Allen's left rear corner got together, and there he went.
You know, it's that's the thing about restarts. Everybody gets bunched up, and somebody doesn't go like they should, and that's what happened.
Benson was lucky. He came up the outside. He could have been a part of that.
Yep.
We'll take a quick break and be right back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway with TBS live coverage of the All-Pro Bumper to Bumper 300.
NASCAR is on TBS. Gordon, Martin, Marlin, and Earnhardt. The Winston Cup stars take the track at Charlotte. The UAW GM 500, 1 Eastern tomorrow. You're on the circuit with TBS.
At AutoZone, we carry filters for just about every car on the road, and we've got just about any kind of oil you'd ever need. More than 10 brands and 30 weights. But no matter which oil you choose to put in your car, you gotta do something with the old stuff. So just bring your used oil back to us. We'll take care of it. You see, helping you recycle oil, that's just one more reason why there's no place better than AutoZone.
Have you had your break today, yeah?
Had a dream the other day. Canines were running the show. It was something.
Bring me the cat.
But if you want to be treated with respect, you gotta treat others with respect.
Roll over.
Whether they get around on 4 legs or 2. Of course, just between us mutts, it was kind of gratifying. Old yet smooth, easy to drink. To see the whole world going through the dogs.
Sunday Night NFL on TNT. Can the Patriots fire enough missiles to counter Denver's lethal weapons? The Broncos, the Patriots. Tomorrow at 8 on TNT.
Steel aerial camera giving you these pictures of the 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Looks like it's going to be a full house tomorrow here for the running of the UAW GM Quality 500. There's those new terrace seats down there in turn 4, condos up on top. It's a good way to watch the race.
It really is, and you know what? From a driver's perspective, you won't believe how it changed the looks of that corner.
Really?
When you come around there now, that used to be open. That was there was nothing there, and now it's got that blue background there, and it's a lot like in a baseball stadium. It's just give it a whole different look back there, and makes it feel different when you come through there. Thankfully, I'm glad of that.
Larry McReynolds.
I'm standing here with Chad Little. Chad, the first question I've got to ask, are you okay? First question I got to ask.
Oh, I'm fine. Thanks, Larry. It's can hear the banging going on in the background. They're trying to fix it, get back out for a little bit, but just got together with that 33 cars. We were racing, you know, in the early parts of the race. Disappointing too, you know. It almost was a big pile up a lap before that with him and another guy going 3 wide and down there in 1 and 2, and I backed out there and was thinking, you know, God, let me get up through these cars a little bit here so we'll get strung out a ways, and just never had a chance.
I know there's 2 races to go. Championship's going to be tough, but regardless, you guys have had an awesome season.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a great year, and I'm real happy for that. You know, for Bear and Harris Teeter, because we've won races with both of them, and, you know, they share the car, and so that's been really good, and we've learned a lot. It's just, it's frustrating when the season ends on a low note. Like our last few races haven't been as strong, nearly as strong as our first few, and we just like to, you know, end with some momentum that we started out with, and so far we haven't been able to do that.
Again, that's the word from the fella that started leading these points way back at Daytona in February.
He came all the way from the rear and looked so strong. Heartbreaker for him today. Take a look at the points right now. Here you see Benson up in front, 3,300 to 3,080 coming into today's race, with 2 remaining at Rockingham, October 21st, and Miami, November the 5th. Now, in that incident that took place that has put the number 23 car of Chad Little back behind the wall, Mike McLaughlin's car also, Magic Shoes, got a piece of that, and Steve Burns can tell us more.
Ken, this is the 4th pit stop that Mike McLaughlin has made during this caution period. He's complaining of a bad vibration on the right front. They're trying to get the space, the hole in the front end, if you will, patched up so the car will drive smoother. Pitting next to him is Ricky Craven. Ricky's been in 3 times as well. He complained the car is terribly loose. They've changed just about everything. Tire pressure, they changed the spoiler, they changed 4 tires completely, so he's having a mess of a time. And Rodney Combs has radioed his crew. He can't steer his car either.
Well, that's kind of typical Charlotte. You practice out here in overcast conditions, and when the sun comes out on these in the afternoon and the track gets hot and slick, your car, you think it's not the same car that it gets demons in it. And the driver, he starts complaining that this thing is evil.
Witchcraft.
That's right.
Charlotte witchcraft.
I guess so. But you know something, Ken, observation with Chad there. That's the first time this year I've heard him feel or sound dejected, like he was down just a little bit. I think he realizes that was the final nail in the coffin right there.
Well, and that team has been having some problems, I think, over the past 2 or 3 races. That team has not been as cohesive as it has been before. Next year, all new year for him. John Deere comes on board, great new sponsor to bring into the Busch Grand National Series. But I don't think the last month has been and it lived up to the expectations that he had in midseason.
But you know, you look at how soon he has come on. He had never won a race until 1995. He came out of the box and he won Daytona, and what a year since.
Hey, take a look at those blue seats we're talking about in DW, huh?
There they are. They give you a whole different look, I'm telling you.
All right, down for the start, and as they come back to the stripe, Martin Jarrett up in front, Vito Alabante, Dotter, Spencer, Ward Burton, Phil Parsons, Morgan Shepherd, Kevin LePage, front 10 as they come back to the line.
Well, last time Ward Burton had a terrible restart, lost a couple of positions. This time he was ready for him, and he's holding his own this time. But there goes old Jimmy Spencer down on the inside.
4th position, Terry Blabani right there. Started way back in 17th. There's your pole sitter, Dotter, slipping back.
Yeah, that's for 5th.
Well, Dotter runs a kind of conservative race like that. There's Hermie Sadler up high coming off of turn 4. I don't know if he's got a problem.
Clear after 99. Get low.
You're listening to Bobby Dotter's radio there in the background.
Inside.
Morgan Shepherd making a move on Kevin LePage in the 71, and Morgan falls back as LaJoie stuffs the nose of the Duralube, number 64, down on the bottom.
LaJoie is going to be in the 74 car next year as Benson moves over to Winston Cup.
Here's LaJoie closing in on Kevin LePage. Those two used to race each other up in Vermont. Kevin LePage out of Shelburne, Vermont. Randy LaJoie out of Norwalk, Connecticut. A couple of New Englanders coming down. Reminder the days back in the 60s when Pete Hamilton and Don McTavish came out of the Northeast with the NASCAR racing.
There's Kenny Wallace in there too, Morgan Shepherd. Yep. There's Kenny Schrader.
Schrader in the 52.
They're having a real go of it right in that little crowd.
Schrader started all the way in the back of the pack today, and his crew chief this morning said he wasn't worried about the speed of the car. What he was really worried about was getting through the traffic and doing so in one piece. He was really concerned about starting that far back, and we can see why.
That yellow car, number 51, is up on the outside in that group. Jim Bound. It's a little like the Dillon car, but that's Jim Bound, who's had some pretty good runs here at Charlotte, fighting with Kenny Wallace down on the inside of number 8.
Well, he got a real shot off of turn 2 then and cleared Kenny Wallace and really pulled away from him.
Doug Heveron, who should have won that race at Dover. And of course, there are no shoulds in life, and it certainly has been true for Doug Heveron. But what a terrific racer. And here's the 29 skipping along on the bottom. Oh, look out for Steve Grissom.
That's a guy that really is a sleeper. I'm telling you, if there is, he and Terry Labonte, they're 2 sleepers. He just kind of picks his way along. First thing you know, you look up and he's leading the race.
Well, take a look at Terry Labonte. What did he start, 17th today? Now he's rocketing along up there in the 4th position. Just as smooth as always.
That's it. If you're a betting man, you ought to always place a little bet on that 14 car, because he's going to be there when the day's over with.
I didn't think you'd be promoting gambling.
I didn't mean it that way. I just, if you were, or if you had a friend that was, or maybe even if you knew someone that liked to do things like that, you might make that recommendation.
I see. Mark Martin stays in front. Jarrett right there in second, 10 car lengths back. Then it's 25 car lengths to Fedewa, who's still having a great run. And it remains Ford in the front 3 positions here as we come around to complete 38 laps.
Yeah, and here comes Terry Labonte on the bottom looking at Fedewa, trying to take the position away from him, and it looks like he's going to do that. And this might be one of the very last races Terry Labonte is going to have a chance to run with his father as his crew chief. Bob Labonte says that he wants to go off and try to run his son, Terry's 14-year-old son, Justin, in stock car racing. 14 sounds awful young, but Bob said, that's all right. He said he started Terry at 14, lied about his age, and told the promoter he was 16. Next year, he told the promoter he was 16. When he turned 16, the promoter said, now, how old did you say that kid is?
A lot of that going on. 3 abreast.
Wow. I tell you, that brought me to my feet. Grissom really threaded the needle.
And the Dillon car, number 12, comes. It looks like it has grazed the wall somewhere.
He's been in the wall big time.
Number 12.
He's on pit road, and that thing is
going right
really
to the garage area. And he flattened out the right side of that car. Number 12 going back into the garage area. .41 laps now complete. Some shots from Jason Keller here. Well back in the field. Some of that battle.
Hebron in the 35, Bickle in the 54, Elton Sawyer in the 38.
Bickle was on the pole here in May, and he's struggling a little bit today. He doesn't seem to be running quite as good. There's a guy with a future.
Yeah, and Hebron in the 35 is running with a broken ankle today. He broke it at Michigan. He's got it in one of those air casts. Unfortunately, it's the same ankle he broke it in Indianapolis car when he slammed into the wall at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He just said he was glad to get rid of the crutches, and he's sort of lumping around on the thing.
Fighting back here for 22nd position is what you're watching. There goes Jeff Purpose in the number 4, making his move out of turn 2.
Elton Sawyer, he's got a great future ahead of him. He's going to run Winston Cup next year in the Hooters car, and he's a fine young man. I really am glad he got a break.
Who do you like best among these guys as you look them over? As a car owner now, as you look fellows over that are coming along in the young.
Oh, there's a lot of talent out there right now, Kenny. You got Benson, who's going to move up into the 30 car next year, and you got Ward Burton, who's already in a good car. And you got a lot of kids out here right now. The kid that drives the 57 car, I think he's got a real good future ahead of him. And there's some others.
Talking about Jason Keller?
Yeah, Jason Keller.
Ooh, how about this 3 abreast racing coming down out of 4?
I don't know that I've ever seen cars race through that corner 3 wide like that, the way we've seen so far, and make it without any incident. That's usually trouble.
Yeah, we've seen them try it. Huh?
Yeah, we've seen it tried many times.
It's another matter.
Go into it, but not come out of it.
They're doing it with precision, I'm telling you.
And a lot of luck.
Rich Bickle's number 54 back on pit road, and from Keller's viewpoint. 17th position. Look at what's behind him. The 71 is making a great race out of this today.
Schrader, 3 wide again.
And that's very difficult to do, folks. I mean, it's not something you can easily do. It takes the confidence of other drivers. It takes a lot of precision to run like that.
Do not try this yourself, right?
No, this is not something I'd want to see happen. Especially if I was in one of those cars. Not too bad from up here.
Tommy Houston down at the bottom of the car, number 6. Kevin LePage, who we mentioned a moment ago, has come from 19th up to 8th. Remember, he charged from deep in the pack at Talladega. Came all the way back up to 2nd before the brakes put him out of that one.
Well, Schrader's really charging through the field. He's got Morgan Shepherd with him on this run. 52, Kenny Schrader.
When you see a guy that can go up high like that and cut under the car in front of him, that car is really handling well. Kenny's got the thing hooked up good.
Moves away from Jim Bound. Moves away from Morgan. Here's Jim Bound down on the inside. Kenny Wallace in the 8th. That's a fight for 14th. And you see Green right there behind them. Jeff Green in the number 3.
Steve Grissom, 37th he started, up to 10th place. That's a move through the field.
Yeah, and that's the same car Grissom won the first Bristol race with. He won 2 races at Bristol, and of course that qualifies him as a great driver, doesn't it, Darrell?
It does, I guarantee you. He's running good today.
Hearing the spotter on the radio to number 3, Jeff Green, in the background here as he comes after Kenny Wallace with Jim Bound in the 51 directly behind him.
And there's Schrader again in that 52. His team has won with Jimmy Horton. They won the Atlanta ARCA race. They won the Daytona ARCA race with Hillenberg. They also won the 40-lap Hooligan. That's the consolation race for you folks in the South. Down here with Schrader driving it, so they've got 3 wins. Schrader has won just once in the trucks in 1995 at the now shuttered Saugus Speedway.
Darrell.
Yes.
I'm from the north. I've never heard of Hooligan either. Losers leave town race. I've heard of.
It's some kind of made-up deal.
David Bonnet brings number 03 on pit road. He's been having a good run today. David Bonnet back on pit road, Hank Parker's car. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
There's one way to win the Napa 500, and then there's another. At Napa's Pick the Winner sale, where you can register for a chance to win the Napa 500 pace car. While you're here, pick up some great parts and accessories at low prices, like Autolite spark plugs, just 49 cents, and Napa halogen headlights as low as $4.99. The Pick the Winner sale, going on now at Napa.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the All-Pro bumper-to-bumper 300 of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series today on TBS Sports. 53 laps into the books. Mark Martin showing the way. We're joined in the Pit Communication Center, the Duralube PCC today, by Greg Sachs. Good to see you. Sorry you're here so soon. Tough break out there.
Well, it really was. You know, the Jackaroo, Canal Insurance, Pilot Pontiac was really working well. Kind of cruised up on the outside of Kenny there, coming through 3 and 4, and you know, you can always run on the outside of Kenny. He's a great driver, and as we come up before, all of a sudden, wham, he run me up into the wall, but apparently Chad had gone down on the inside, made it 3 wide, and it's just a little early in the day for that kind of racing.
A lot of action back in the back as we watch Doug Everon and Johnny Benson Jr. go at it. How are the track conditions so far?
Oh, the track was great. You know, the outside groove is working real well. As a matter of fact, I think Kenny's got a pretty good shot on the outside, too. I was glad to see that he didn't get caught up in the accident where it's because he was really just the meat of the sandwich, you know, so to say.
You're driving the Active Motorsports car tomorrow in the UAW GM 500 here on TBS. What kind of race car do you have for Sunday?
Oh, we feel real good about it. You know, we didn't qualify well the first day. We got a brand new car, and with all the weather, practice was really limited. But now we've got the car really worked out, and we're really looking forward to a good run for Fina and our Lance people.
All right, well, good luck tomorrow and next year. Thanks. Greg Sachs with us.
Thank you.
And the Duralube Pit Communication Center. Ken Squire, great action on the Speedway.
It sure is. 55 laps down, 145 to go, and you're watching Tommy Houston closing in on Jeff Green. They continue their war a little further back. That's in 7th up to 15th position now. 15th position, that struggle. Jason Keller getting the job done for the moment in car number 57.
Well, these leaders, Ken, are getting ready to put the heat on everybody because they're already lapping cars. That's how quickly Martin and Jarrett are running, and they're pulling away from everybody. So they're the class of the field right now. They're all out there all by themselves. You don't even know they're out there.
Jason Keller, 16th position. Jeff Green just in front of him. Tommy Houston on the low side on that red car.
Well, it's tight stuff, too. They're running awfully close together there. Keller's one of the few guys that doesn't have to worry about his ride next year. He owns that car. Got a new sponsor going to it. Slim Jim is going to move from the 44 to his car, so he's all set for 3 full years. Tommy Houston in that red car on the low side, that's another story. He has lost his sponsor, and he says he'll take a sponsor, put somebody else in the car if that's what it took. He'll sell the team. The only thing he's sure of, the only thing he's absolutely positive of is he will continue to be involved in auto racing.
Sure involved right now as he holds on to the bottom of this racetrack. I'd love to watch Houston. There's a guy you can trust on a racetrack.
Oh, yeah, and of course, every time you think of Tommy Houston, you think of Hickory Speedway. That's where he's been so dominant through the years. And his son, Scott, has come to work for me on my car. He's
right?
Working, changing the right rear tire, or did last week, and he's a good kid. Good family. Good racing family.
And that racing family's been together a long time. His family, 3 of them, worked on that car for years.
Scott was the crew chief for Tommy, for his dad.
Wife Martha's always in the truck with him.
14th position is Jeff Green at this moment. Car number 3. Jason Keller hangs right onto him. Picked up the spot. Tommy Houston slipped back one. Out of 4 and down the main straightaway.
Now, we talked a lot about the points lead so far today, but Jeff Green is currently running 3rd in points, and he's got to do a good job. Mike McLaughlin's only 9 points behind him, and Jason Keller is only 69 points behind that. So he's got to get a good finish here to protect his 3rd place position in the point standings.
Boy, Dick, I tell you, I'm watching Mark and Dale Jarrett up front there, and those 2 cars are like they're on a string. They're right on the white line on the bottom of the racetrack, and they are just flat putting this field to shame. They are going around here like they're on a string.
Well, whatever the story was on David Bonnet earlier, this is, I think, the 4th time he's dropped back on pit road with the number 03 car. So he had a lot of optimism coming into this one, but it's not going to work out as you watch Mark Martin continuing to throttle away and keep on putting cars down. We have 28 now in the lead lap.
See that? Watch that 60 car, Ken. It's right. When you can hook around the bottom like that, right on that white line, and run the way that Mark and Dale are running right now, you're going to lap the field real easily. Both of them are right down there on the bottom.
But this thing's a long ways from over, too, for sure, because finishing is so much of the ball game here, and Dale Jarrett has failed to finish in his last 3 starts here at Charlotte. He started 5th in the spring, lost an engine. Last fall in this race, he lost an engine, and he crashed in the spring of 1994. So he's running well. Got to run well on the 200th lap.
Yeah.
There you see that leader, and as you look a little further back here, you're watching number 60, Mark Martin, coming into the frame. You will see the 32 of Jarrett, who is staying right with him out there. That's been about the same interval for how many laps? 20, 25?
A long time, but if Dale Jarrett could get his car down one more lane, he could run with Mark Martin. But Dale's having to run a lane higher, and that little bit of difference through the corner is why he's not able to keep up with him.
Take a look a little further back here. 4th place. That's Tim Fedewa, and he's got Randy LaJoie to contend with. The 64 car, that Duraloop car, looking pretty stout. LaJoie closing in on Tim Fedewa. 4th place at stake. 3rd place is Terry Labonte. Here comes LaJoie, and he just motors on by.
Oh, he threw that thing right into the turn, didn't he?
Hard racer, big guy.
A very aggressive racer, and he's got a steady ride for next year, too, so that'll be fun to watch.
Well, here we are back with the 29 and the 57. Grissom going at it for another go-around.
I'm going to tell you, I am impressed with Tommy Houston in that number 6 car. He is doing a terrific job today. He's one of the oldest drivers in the field at age 50. The most experienced of all these Grand National drivers. Has run more of these races than any of the other drivers.
That's a great battle. Grissom, that's 14th, 15th, 16th in there. Here's Houston down on the inside. Shown 17th a lap ago. Comes up on Jeff Green. Back up front another time. And you can see that that car, number 32, is definitely taking back a little ground right now on Mark Martin in the 6. As they come down off turn number 4 and come around to complete the 66th lap. They're putting a lap right now on car number 47.
The All-Pro Bumper-to-Bumper 300 is brought
duplicate in that Winn-Dixie Ford, the 1993 All-Pro 300 effort that took him to first place. Well, here comes Dale Jarrett trying to chase him down now. And let's get a report as we get close to pit stop time from Randy Pemberton.
Well, as far as the leaders are concerned, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin now at the front of the pack. I'd like to tell you that they're going to do something special, but obviously they're not. They're just going to bring it in the next 5 or so laps, change 4 tires, send them back out on the track. Nothing special going to happen in these 2 pits, at least they hope. Larry McReynolds?
Randy, I'm down here in the Terry Labonte pits. Pretty much the strategy is about the same. These guys, they pretty much made their mind up about 10 laps ago. They're going to change 4 Goodyear tires. They're going to pit in about the next 4 to 5 laps. Now, one adjustment that they are going to make here is they're going to take some wedge out of the car. They're going to take some weight off the left rear and the right front. Hopefully, that will make the car turn a little bit better, and maybe they can catch those 2 Fords here shortly.
Larry Pearson running 22nd. He's one of the first to come in for a pit stop here.
Now, I get on Mark all the time. He always got a camera in his car. I want you to look how hard he's working. I tell him, I said, Mark, you could at least make this look hard, because when that car's hooked up like it is today, he's pretty much on just a Sunday drive. And you can see he's not fighting the wheel. He's just turning the car into the corner, holding it pretty steady. And if you get a chance sometime or another, he'll have that other arm laying up on the windowsill over there, almost like he's trying to wave at you.
Think it ruins your image?
Well, it doesn't do anything for the physical conditioning of all of us athletes.
Jason Keller's just come onto pit road. He was running in 19th. Take a look here. There's the 95 and the 55 continuing at it here, back in 5th spot. Ward Burton in the 95 is there. Pidewa in the 55 drops to 6th position.
You know, somebody we haven't talked about is Phil Parsons, Ken, and he is right there. And Phil won here, what, last year? Or
on Memorial Day.
So he's a winner. He's driving a winning car.
Ricky Craven brings number 2 on pit road.
No, he brings it into the garage.
And gone right to the garage.
Right to the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Now, one of the things you got to watch for here today, folks, is these 9-to-1 engines on these big racetracks. They've been given some trouble in these long races, so the engine attrition could be high today.
I talked to some of the mechanics about that in the last couple of days, Darrell, and what they're telling me is that they've backed down the RPM on some of these motors, and they've been trying to run it at the 8,000 RPM you guys in Winston Cup use, but they find that they actually get more horsepower at 7,800 RPM, even 7,700 RPM, which is what Terry Labonte is running, and that is helping them live a little bit longer. But Jack Roush says valve temperatures alone are some 200 degrees hotter in these 9-to-1 motors than a standard Winston Cup engine.
Yeah, what they try to do is trick the engine. They try to make the engine think it's got more compression than it does. And they do that with camshaft. Well, when they do it, it ends up putting a lot of heat in the cylinders, and they end up breaking valves. So the engines are smarter than the mechanics right now.
See Elton Sawyer out there riding with the number 3, and Elton is a lap down. He pitted on lap 38, and he's back out here. Now we're beginning to see a lot of pit stops among the leaders. For instance, here's Mark Martin coming on. Parsons is in. LaJoy is in. LePage comes on pit road. Jim Bound has brought his car in. Schrader, Grissom. And let's go to Randy with Mark Martin's pit stop, the leader.
Well, the Roush boys are waiting for Mark to hit his mark here on pit road. Dale Jarrett will come in the very next lap. He is pitting directly in front of Mark Martin. He wants to make sure that he gets a clean shot at his pit stop. It's going to be 4 tires for the Winn-Dixie Ford crew. Right side is already up on Mark's car. Tires going on. Nice smooth pit stop. Want to make sure they clean the grill good. Not too much rubber on the grill, so they're not having any problem there with rubber flying up and possibly overheating one of these engines. Gas is already in. Left side tires on. Good fast pit stop for Mark Martin. He's down and away.
Lap 76 is 114 miles into the race.
See, what you got at Mark's car is so fast, he has such a big lead. He can take on 4 tires, which is going to give him an even bigger advantage as they go along.
32, Dale Jarrett has appropriated first position. Stays out here and stays in the lead for the present time. David Green is in. Jimmy Spencer is on pit road. Tommy Houston has now come in.
Here comes the
Bobby Dotter, the pole sitter, and now the guy who had taken... Oh, we got a crash coming out of turn 4. The car number 1 getting collected and spun. Bobby Dotter. Let's see, there's no caution out on the track. The 63 got a piece of that one and got spun around. Curtis Markham out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. And there is no caution on the track. Meanwhile, Jarrett is on pit road. Let's go there with Randy.
Boy, they didn't know what to do. They were trying to look at the flagman, see if the caution was going to come out. They were going to send Dale Jarrett on through his pit. They decided to stop. It was the right call. Right side tires already on. The back tools forward. Left side's going on. Good pit stop for Dale Jarrett's team. Boy, he stopped away. Excellent stop.
Coming back on the track, Houston makes it, and the 63 may not make it. We may have to have a flag for Curtis Markham. Markham spun coming out of 4. It looked like he had been tapped by the Hermie Sadler car out of Emporia, Virginia. A couple of Virginians muscling, and caution is now coming out for car number 63, Curtis Markham. Mark it at 79, lap 79.
This is the leader's worst nightmare. Yep. You come in, you take on 4 tires, you do the right thing, and then there's a caution. Some guys haven't pitted yet, and that's going to put probably put some of these lead cars a lap down now.
Like Morgan Shepherd to go for the lead. Bring up Jeff Purvis.
By a lap. So that's what you worry about when you make that green flag stop.
We'll take a break and be right back with you at the Charlotte Motor Speedway under caution for the 3rd time today. They go out to pick up Curtis Markham's car. Back with you watching Morgan Shepherd come on to pit road. He won 121.5 miles, 119 laps to go. Hey, coming up, the NASCAR Showcase. That's coming up right after our bumper-to-bumper All-Pro 300 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, live here on TBS. Here's Jimmy Spencer, who just gave a very dramatic moment to us, and for the resuscitation, we don't have the pictures of what happened there because we were on pit road all the time. He was trying to make up a lap coming down through here.
Yeah, well, Jeff Purvis in the 4 car was leading the race, and Spencer knew it, and he bobbed and weaved his way right past him and beat him back to the line to get back, I guess, at least 1 lap. I think it puts him in the lead lap.
Does that go down as the #1 thrill moment?
Well, it does from up here. It overtakes 3 abreast racing.
Morgan Shepherd had the lead. He's just come on to pit road. Jeff Purvis had been in 2nd. Johnny Benson. Let me review for you how they stood at 81 laps when that caution came out and split this field apart. Shepherd for the lead, Purvis in 2nd, Benson 3rd, Chuck Bound back today in the 05 into 4th, followed by Johnny Rumley, then Fuller, and in 7th, Mark Martin, followed by Combs, and then Dale Jarrett in 9th. McLaughlin was 10th. Now, as we've made some more pit stops, we've got an update here. Spencer into 11th, and he's in the lead lap, followed by Terry Labonte, 12th, then Phil Parsons, 13th, Randy LaJoie, 14th, Jeff Green, Schrader, Kenny Wallace, 17th, Grissom, 18th, Fidois, 19th, and Jason Keller in the 67, 20th, and those 20 cars in the lead lap.
Yeah, it really surprises me because with all that green flag pit stops that were going on, I thought there'd be more cars a lap down, but apparently the 4 car was leading the race, and he just wasn't running that well to keep those guys a lap down.
Hermie Sadler's #1 has gone back to the garage area, the #1 that got involved in that fracas with the number 63, Curtis Markham. A quick break, and we should be ready for a start here once again in the All-Pro 300 from Charlotte.
Today's cars are a technological wonder.
The restart that we were going to get, you can scratch that 20-car rundown we just gave you as we get to lap number 84. Hermie Sadler has dropped out, but let's get this field reorganized and straightened out before we go here.
I think what's critical to understand is, I know the fans at home may probably say, what do you mean he's on the tail end of the lead lap? Well, as they came down to get the caution flag here, the 4 car was leading the race. He makes a pit stop. The lead keeps backing up to now is Mark Martin, who is deep in the field, even though he's on the lead lap. Well, cars that were between the 4 car and the 60 car are in front of Mark, which puts them on the tail end of the lead lap. Now, if a caution falls on the restart here, all those guys can go around, and now they're back up racing for the lead again. But right now, they're just trying to keep them going a lap down.
So at this moment, we have Martin in 1st, Jarrett in 2nd. They're sandwiched back in this field, and on the tail end, you got Purvis in 3rd, Benson 4th, Fuller 5th, Rumley 6th, Chuck Bound 7th, Shepherd 8th, McLaughlin 9th, Combs 10th, Spencer 11th, Labonte 12th, followed by LaJoie, LePage, Wallace, and Fidois, and 16 cars in the lead lap. And let's get right down to Larry McReynolds for a moment.
Ken, I'm standing here with Hermie Sadler. Hermie, maybe not quite the day you'd like to see going on out there. Long green run and then the caution come. What kind of happened from where you were sitting?
Well, we missed it a little bit on the setup to start with, Larry, and we hadn't pitted, so we're going to try to come in the first caution and try to adjust on it. But I guess probably Curtis maybe blew a tie and got into that wall and came back across the racetrack. And I got into him. I think we're probably done for the day, but if we can, we'll get the DeWalt Chevy back out there.
That's the story from Hermie Sadler down here in the garage.
We're back. Race is resuming under green at lap 86. So with this point of the race reached, 129 miles have been completed, 171 to go.
Now remember, Mark Martin is the leader of the race. He's about 20th position in the field right now. And all those guys that are in front of him are racing as hard as they can go to stay ahead of him in case there's a quick caution.
And he's willing to let him go for just a moment. You don't want to mix it up with that crowd right now.
Except Vitola, who he just put a lap down.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be some guys that are going to do everything they can to hold him up because that's the only thing they can do right now. But the way he's running, I don't think he'd be much holding that cat up today.
No, he's a smart racer, too. He's not going to take any chances on this stuff. It'd be nice to put some of these guys away, but he is going to take care of his equipment for sure. There's your pole sitter right in front of him, Goddard. In danger of going a lap down.
Chad Little about to get back in the race. Larry McReynolds can tell us more about this.
Again, these guys in the Harris Teeter crew, I'm telling you, they are really showing championship effort for them. You know, they may have seen the championship go away, but they're not going to go down without fighting. They're about ready to put this car back on the racetrack. It's fired up. They're trying to get the hood closed on it just to try to help the aerodynamics all they can. But I tell you, these guys, they're showing championship effort for them.
Hard one to come back into. Be a long day for Chad Little.
Well, right now he might not want to come back out. He might want to wait just a little while because I take it the action is hot and furious right here in front of us, and these guys are two abreast and are really working hard to try to stay on that lead lap.
Jason Keller giving us some pretty good, interesting pictures there for a moment.
Oh, a lot of traffic, a lot of traffic.
And you know, Dale Jarrett is just doing a masterful job. He's not pushing Mark, he's just following Mark along, and I think Dale Jarrett has matured a lot this year, not only as a race driver but as a person. He took a lot of heat early in the year for not winning in the 28 car, and I think Dale Jarrett is a great race car driver, and I think he's just starting to really show what he can do.
A lot of pressure on him, huh?
Oh, a tremendous amount of pressure. He stepped into some big shoes there in a car. I'm not talking about the guy so much, but that car was supposed to win, and when he didn't win, it really looked bad for him, but he's turned it around.
Do you think that the car is, and the whole way that they've approached racing with Robert Yates and what we're going to see tomorrow, look at this, three wide and loose.
Close. That was really close. Mike McLaughlin in the 34 has already been in the wall today and almost went back in again right there.
That was Chuck Bound in the 05 that had it scattered right up on the wall, got it down again, and kept the former Grand National champion. He really had a handful.
Well, that was a $10,000 accident to turn into a $10 accident, but it was an accident. You want to look at it, they just avoided it.
Well, there he is fighting for 8th place. That's McLaughlin on the inside. Remember, he was in a skirmish a little earlier and got that car bruised. Chuck Bound right there with him. Take another look at this one.
Well, it sets up here. They try to go 3 wide through the trial, which is very difficult to do. McLaughlin on the inside, and is that Chuck Bound in the blue car?
And he ran over the front end of Robbie Reiser's number 17.
I'm sure he said, excuse me. He needed to get over and probably just didn't give him enough room.
Don't mind dancing with you, but get off my foot.
That's right.
Look at the 60 car getting down under Kenny Wallace as he continues to come along up through, and Jarrett right with him. Let's go to Larry McReynolds.
I tell you guys, business is kind of picking up here in the Busch Grand National Garage. I'm standing here with Ward Burton. Ward, what you thought originally put you out, it ended up being something else. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it really was. Kind of a shame. Must have miscalculated fuel a little bit and ran out the backstretch. I thought it burned a piston. So we saw the leader go back around, and we sat there and we played with the motor for a few minutes. Went a couple more laps down, then got it fired up and put the fuel in there, but we were about 3-4 laps down, so tried to save it for Rockingham.
That's the story from Ward Burton. Ken, looks like the battle for the lead's kind of heating up there.
Yes, it is. Jarrett making a big run here. He gets around Kenny Wallace. Started to say to you earlier, that number 28, the Robert Yates car, almost seemed like it was built in with Ernie Irvan in mind. They like that kind of a wild ride. Davey used to give him a wild ride, and Jarrett wasn't that kind of driver.
No, he's much more laid back, is a little more mature, I think, and a little bit more methodical. And I think it took some time for them to adjust to that kind of a driver. But, you know, listening to Ward talk about being out of fuel, if y'all remember here 2 or 3 years ago, he had this race won. He murdered the field and was going to win the race hands down, and ran out of fuel with just a few laps to go.
That was a little different, though. That was a deliberate calculation. They were going to try to stretch it. Yeah, I remember I worked that broadcast, and I remember we all said, how could he possibly make it? Well, the answer is he didn't.
He couldn't.
No, he came up way short.
Yeah, and there was no reason for it because he was much faster than everyone else. All he had to do is stop and put a little fuel in.
That's right.
Okay, guys, watch here. Mr. Excitement's up on the outside. Mark Martin down on the bottom, and they're trying to get around him.
See, actually, he's not He causes the other people to get excited. That may be part of the myth that goes along with all that.
Well, he's got him fooled then. Here he comes, Mark Martin in car number 60 is your leader. Still sandwiched back in the field.
Oh, they got awful close together. Jarrett in the yellow and white car, number 32. He's running in second spot. Spencer's a lap down in the 20.
Well, he will be when they pass. Well, he is now, yeah. But, you know, the thing Jarrett was trying to do was follow Mark through. He doesn't want to have to deal with Jimmy Spencer one-on-one. He wanted to use Mark to get Spencer up out of the way, that he follows through, and there's no problem.
Carol, how many of your races have you won just by thinking it through and not having the fastest car?
84.
All of them?
You lucked in a couple of times. Come on, DW.
No, I've had some great race cars. When I drove for Dygard or Junior Johnson, and even my own car has been pretty awesome at times. But there have been a lot of them where that's paid off.
Seemed to me, though, that in all that first time of winning, when you were at your height, a lot of it was that old petty thing around, you know, be in the lead lap at halftime and then get serious.
That used to really pay off until everybody started running harder, and now it doesn't work anymore.
We'll see what's going to work here for Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett in just a moment after this break in the 300. The platform giving you these pictures positioning the field. There you see the number 14. That's Terry Labonte. And remember that he is now running in 11th place. Directly behind him is the number 64, the red and yellow car. That's Randy LaJoie. Now here's your leader. Remember those two cars just mentioned in the 11th and 12th positions on the tail end of the lead lap. Mark Martin is cleared out, able to get away from the number 32, although now the 32 is reeling him back in. The 32 of Jarrett got in a real dogfight with Jimmy Spencer, and it cost him some car lengths. Now he's got some clear sailing. He's closing in another time and moving around Doug Heveron. Heveron a lap or two down.
Yeah, if you remember, Ken, Terry Labonte was running third behind the 60 and the 32 before that caution came out, before the pit stops. So I'm just curious to see if he can hold Mark off or not. I think we'll find out how good Terry is right here through this next little stretch.
Winn-Dixie mid-race report coming up. We're at 105 now. We're past the halfway mark in this 200-lap event. We have 5 different leaders thus far.
Jarrett
the
just
cars
struggles
out of the race.
Jarrett struggles a little bit more in traffic than Mark does. Mark just can get down under cars a lot easier than Dale can. Dale's car's a little tighter, looks like.
LePage is playing it pretty cagey here. He's running 13th, and he's been drafting off anyone. He's been willing to hitchhike with, he tried to hitchhike with Martin, and Martin blew him away, but he's been able to stay with Jarrett and run very consistently out here.
How much LePage has matured this year compared to the very early races in 1995 and where he is running today. He is just a 10-time better race driver than he was at the beginning. He was pretty good when he came here.
Yeah, that's a great observation, Dick. I feel the same way. That car has really picked up the pace, and you know when it happened? It was trouble for him at Hickory, but when he got by Chad Little at the end of that race and got back on the lead lap, I saw a different race driver after that.
Yep. There you see Dale Jarrett, second place car, but the story for the moment here is Mark Martin closing up on Randy LaJoie, the 12th place car, to try to put him a lap down.
I don't believe Terry's got anything for Mark. I believe Mark gets there, he'll drive right on by.
About 30 car lengths back to Jarrett behind Mark Martin. Martin makes the move to the inside.
Mark carries so much speed through 3 and 4. When you can come around the bottom of the racetrack like that, in the throttle, it's such a shorter distance, and you come off that corner with so much momentum, it just shoots him down this front straightaway.
So LaJoie, the 12th position car, now is last. Labonte in 11th, just in front of Mark Martin.
I'll tell you how well Mark Martin runs this Grand National Series. Going into this race, Ken, he was second in laps led in 1995, but he had run just 12 out of the 23 races. He runs up front every time he runs.
Well, here comes Johnny Benson.
Yep.
Making his way back up through in car number 74. He's in 4th place. And you can see Purvis that just dropped back. Purvis had been in 3rd. Now he's dropped to 4th. Benson picking up some positions here. Steve Burns can update us on that story.
Guys, we haven't talked about Jeff Purvis much, but it's a great story. He started in 39th position. I just talked to his crew chief, Johnny Allen. He had actually gained ground on the 60 and the 32, but he says the car has become a little bit tight. He's having a little bit of trouble turning it.
That's the car number 4, the Kodak Fun Saver Chevy. Best finish he's ever had here was this past May when he finished in 9th, so he's really got it put together.
Well, he got a lucky break too, Ken, when he picked up the lead after the exchange of pit stops and the caution came out, so that's kept him in the hunt too.
Well, here's the show you wanted to see, Darrell.
Yeah,
Terry Labonte can do about this number 60.
Well, he'll race him hard. I know he's not going to pull over and just let him go, but I don't know if that's going to do any good or not. Terry's good today. His car is fast, but that 60 car has got him covered today.
And Mark knows that this is a car that he should put away if he possibly can. Labonte has won from 16th. He's won from 14th.
This is a battle for 19th. There's Schrader in the 52. Green in the number 3. And the 47 is off that pace, back further.
Well, Terry Labonte is sitting there just, I mean, he's probably about to bite the steering wheel too. So I got a good race car. I was running 3rd. I ought to be running right here with these guys, and now I'm about to go a lap down of no fault of my own. It's just bad racing luck. The racing gods didn't smile on him
Let
today.
me correct one thing, Darrell. When I was talking about that 47, he is up a lap on them. Jeff Fuller, make no mistake about that Sunoco car. He's in 5th position, the number 47. And remember, he wrecked a day ago, and that's a tremendous performance by the guy out of the Northeast.
Yeah, that's a backup car. They really tore the automobile up when he hit the wall. And talked to him this morning. He said he felt fine, but gee, the car was bent up.
You know, I never understand that, Dick. Guys will wreck their primary car. They'll go get their old backup car out, one they've been hauling around all summer long, and it'll go out there and just be the best car that the guy has ever raced.
Yeah,
I never quite understand that.
And here we go. Mark Martin putting Terry Labonte a lap down, or does he? Not yet.
This is at lap 114.
Terry will do everything he can to keep Mark pinned down. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you can keep that car on the inside pinned down, and you can maintain the momentum on the outside and hope for something to happen.
One thing you're not likely to see is a fender in a door or a bumper in a back bumper. These two guys are among the most gentlemanly of all the top league drivers.
They are professionals.
They sure are.
They're professional race car drivers, and they act that way on the racetrack.
So Labonte, 11th place, goes a lap down. And that leaves Martin, Jarrett, Johnny Benson 3rd, Purvis, Shepard, Fuller, McLaughlin, Chuck Bound, Rumley, and Combs in the lead lap. That's the top 10. There's Johnny Benson. And to get under Jimmy Spencer.
I think our leader there at that caution flag, Morgan Shepard, may be having a problem down the back straightaway. Looks like he's slowed considerably.
Morgan, actually, it's a couple of times where he is dropping back. Was running in 6th.
Yeah, he's off the pace, going to come into the pits. Oh, crash.
That's in turn 2.
It's Benson. It's the point leader.
Benson.
Okay, Johnny.
Oh, boy.
Hot with
Spencer.
car. Get going. You look like you're all right.
And they're telling him to get going. Looks like he's all right. They come back to the line. Here is Martin across. Labonte did not make up his lap.
Boy, that car
This at 117.
That car didn't look all right to me. The back end of it is well bent in. He's in trouble. The point leader now in trouble. So it may not be all done and over with for Chad Little yet, and that's why they worked so hard to get him back out there.
Well, they're going to have two very similar-looking race cars. Chad's out there riding around with the whole side tore out of his, and now Benson's going to be out there with no back end.
Benson running in 3rd position when this happened.
Probably an oil cooler, guys. Oil cooler in the rear. Get one out.
They're asking for an oil cooler on the back of car number 74. Let's take a look at what happened.
He's under Jimmy Spencer, and he just shoves up. The front end takes off with him, and he just gets up into Spencer.
Yeah, can't blame Spencer for that one for sure. He just did it. Just went up. Boom, and there's the damage right there. You think there's some adrenaline going on in the pit area?
He seems to be like a magnet, though, for these kind of events, doesn't he?
Yeah, but that wasn't his fault.
No, sir.
Not his fault.
Benson's on pit road. Take another look.
Yeah, just lost it.
Yeah, he just went in there. You know, they made a pretty major chassis adjustment earlier in the race when they pulled the rubber out of the front spring there. I don't think that car's really been where they wanted it all day. And it's certainly not where they want it now.
Kenny Wallace can thank his lucky stars on that one. And watch these two guys coming up right here. Whoa.
Whoa.
Is that Grissom? Purvis getting through on the outside.
Well, I tell you, the guy I feel sorry for is Terry Labonte. Dadgummit, he was another couple laps, he'd have had that lap back.
Randy Pemberton is down there with Johnny Benson's team.
Well, you heard him call for the oil cooler, the rear end cooler, over the radio. Man, you're right, guys. It is banged up pretty heavy in the left rear. It's going to take considerable laps. I don't know who I feel worse for. Chad, who could have picked up a lot of points when something like this happens, and this fortune for Johnny Benson, but now I guess it'll nullify it, even itself out. But these guys got a lot of work to do. I'd say at least 20 green flag laps anyway to get this thing fixed. Probably more like 30.
Don't give up on that Grand National battle. Hey, October the 21st, Rockingham, North Carolina at the Rock, and then the new $80 million Miami track down there at Homestead. That's going to be November 5th, and that's the feature show. And on Saturday, that's the Sunday program. On Saturday, the goodies cars, the dash cars of NASCAR are going to be on Turner Broadcasting. They're going to bring you their event, which is their season finale. They haven't been on national television, and they're pretty excited about it. Ought to be a dandy finish and a great weekend at Homestead, November 4th and 5th. We're going to take a break and be back with you again here. We're bringing you live the All-Pro Bumper to Bumper 300 major turn of events once again. Bad news for Johnny Benson.
Hey, race fans, Budweiser put championship leader Bill Elliott in the Budweiser Ford out of the race. Another contender sidelined, Dale Jarrett, who lost the clutch in his Chevrolet. Kyle Petty led the most laps on this day, but his car suffered handling problems, dropping him to 3rd. Having a strong run, Alan Kulwicki, but he was no match for Mark Martin. Martin got by Kulwicki and scored his 7th career Winston Cup victory. Who Won? Brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud.
Take that exclamation mark off the Busch Grand National Championship this year. Chad Little's back in it. It looks like the wreck of the Hesperus out here, battle fatigued, but they've got him back out and going, and there is frenzied activity around the Johnny Benson car. And Randy Pemberton is right there.
I got him. Well, they have got the hydraulic jack out. It's a rear clip, guys, bent in real bad underneath. Johnny, tough break. Chad has a tough luck. I guess that helps a little bit, but I know you didn't want to end your day this way. You'll get back out there.
Yeah, we will. You know, it was just some good hard racing, and I was loose down on the bottom, and I just got some wind taken off me. You know, there's nothing I could really do. I knew I was loose. I was really actually tiptoeing there for a while, and I lost it. So we'll get back out.
Okay, that's Johnny Benson. You can hear the hammers going on this car. They'll have him back out shortly, but this thing's going to run askew for a little while on the track.
Benson still 71 laps up on Chad Little as we get going here, but it evens it up a little. Jeff Purvis just pitted. He had the opportunity to lead for a few laps in the Monte Carlo, and he is pulled on pit road. Steve Burns can tell us more about that.
With crew chief Johnny Allen for Jeff Purvis. Johnny, you guys changed left sides, went out and came back in. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, we decided that we was going to make it all the way on fuel, and we figured we'd go ahead and chance it going green all the way, and figured we'd just give him full fresh tires for the end if we could.
All right, let's go to Rick Benjamin in the PCC.
Thanks, Steve. Rick Benjamin here with Curtis Markham in the Duraloop Communication Center. Sorry to see you out. What happened earlier?
Oh, it was unfortunate for our Lysol Pontiac. We were running pretty good, and coming through turn 3, I heard an explosion. The right front just dropped down, and in the wall I went.
Tough way to go here at Charlotte. You're not alone in that. What are your plans for next year?
Oh, we're back together with Hensley Racing and the Lysol Bronix Pontiac.
All right, we wish you well in the coming races and next year, too. Curtis Markham, good to see you here today. Ken Squire?
Getting you ready on a restart. Interesting story on Curtis Markham and Winston, but you know, you hear all this about Ernie Irvin. Curtis has had that since he was a child, just very early on. Wasn't born with it.
You know, I think athletes, again, time and time again, prove that they can overcome all kind of obstacles to be successful.
So with 123 laps complete and 77 to go, 115 miles, 115 and a half remaining, we're away with Mark Martin in front, Dale Jarrett in second, and Fuller in that 47. Jeff Fuller in the Sunoco Chevy is in third spot with Mike McLaughlin fourth, Shepard fifth, Cone sixth, Bound seventh. That's Chuck Bound. Eighth is Purvis, and Bound actually led a lap. First time in a couple of years we've seen him up in front in a Grand National race. That was in that caution period. But the 05 had itself a time to the line. Gave himself some extra points.
I'll tell you something, kid. We got Jeff Fuller is driving a whale of a race, and he's just hanging right in there, and the car is running excellent, and they're not getting away from him at all. So he's having a great day after a disastrous day yesterday.
This is one of the best days of his entire Busch Grand National career. I mean, here he is at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and he is right in the action in third spot. Purvis trying to make up some time now. That second pit stop put him all the way in the back.
There's Purvis in that 47, right up there on Jarrett.
47 is Fuller. He's a graduate of modifieds in the Northeast, just like McLaughlin.
Great talker, too.
Yeah,
he is a salesman.
We've done a couple of races together. You know, he was an analyst up at New Hampshire. So, yeah, he's a good talker, good guy.
Randy LaJoy up on the outside in the 64, lap down. One lap down, running in 11th position.
Kenny Wallace from the number 8. He's got rides in Winston Cup. He's got a Grand National ride next year, and he's going to run some trucks as well. A real busy guy.
Now, that's some fun racing.
Trucks.
Dick, you'd enjoy that, or I think Ken would even enjoy that.
What are you going to do, put me in the back?
Throw a couple of barrels.
Trust
of
you.
That New England syrup up in the back. Race right on.
Yeah. Try to sweeten up the rest of the field and steal a race.
Yeah.
And here's Terry Labonte again in that number 14.
Look at Fuller continuing to move in here. Top 3. And you're with Jason Keller for a moment back in 12th.
Fuller's just trying to find a place right now to get in line. He doesn't want to be hung out on the outside. He wants to get in line and follow these guys. Whatever he does right now, it's going to be the best day he's had in a pretty good while.
Larry McReynolds, how about an overview on these leaders?
What we got to remember is Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin are pitted right beside each other. The biggest thing that was going on in both the pits after that last pit stop was fuel mileage calculating. Both teams was really working to see if they could make it to the end of this race. I talked to both crew chiefs. Both of them said yeah, but there certainly was some doubt in that yeah. Now, I know from experience that Dale Jarrett can conserve fuel, but can he conserve fuel and still catch that 60 car? That's the question.
I know from experience that nobody ever tells the truth about how far they can go either.
Did you ever tell a white lie, McReynolds, about things like that? I guess he can't hear us down there.
Chad Little is just...
No, he can hear us. He doesn't want to answer us. Excuse me, Dick.
Chad Little is just pitted again, so we've got both first and second in the point race now behind the wall. Or at least on pit road. One's on pit road, one's behind the wall.
Well, you know, that's going to help old Jeff Green out. He's out there trucking along, and he's in third place. And the battle for third, fourth, and fifth is pretty tight. And, you know, some of those guys could close up a considerable amount here today.
Yeah, he came in here 168 behind Little and big distance to Benson, like 388. He can take a big chew out of that.
Right.
Jeff Green, driver of number 3.
And, of course, I know that, oh, goodness gracious.
2 spinning, coming across the line, going down into turn number 1. And they get him right. There is no caution out on the track.
Oh, still spinning. It's Daughter in the 08.
Guy that's set on the pole is all the way at the end of pit road, and Johnny Rumley, who was running in 9th position. Johnson car, yellow is out. This will be for the 5th time today. Back to the stripe comes Martin first, Jarrett second. And as they come across, it will be, I believe, Fuller third.
Yeah, he's third, and Morgan Shepherd is shown to be in fourth, and Jeff Purvis has made a great climb from that pit stop, that late stop, back up to the top 5 there. So that car is definitely fast.
And McLaughlin would come across then 6, followed by Combs and Chuck Bowen in 8th. Johnny Rumley was running on the tail end of that lead lap before we had this problem in the main straightaway. Here it is again.
They just got together. It had already started by the time our camera picked it up. That's the 08 Daughter, is the blue car up in front there, spinning through the grass. Rumley's in the number 25 car. That's Rumley right there.
Winner of Dover.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he hit anything. Looks like the car is fine. He does a nice television-style spin to get the car pointed in the right direction, and off he goes.
So we'll take a pause at lap 131 and be back with you again with more of the Bumper to Bumper All-Pro 300 from Charlotte.
You want them? TBS has them. Movies for guys who like movies. Sunday. Stallone's taking it to the streets. Rocky V. Movies for guys who like movies. 7 Eastern Sunday night. Only on TBS.
For most people in the world, the intense power of the F-16 is thousands of feet above. For you, it's a phone call away. The Air Force Reserve, a great way to serve.
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
3 out of 4 new car radiators are made of aluminum, thin, lightweight, and under tremendous stress. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone Zone. The Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Steel aerial platform giving you these pictures of car number 60, and Mark Martin, he's on his Dave out here today. What Larry McReynolds said was dead on. They were concerned about fuel. He did come in, top the tank, which puts him back a little in this field, keeps him up in that lead lap after we had 2 cars spin here. He was the first one on pit road. Since then, we've seen Purvis and Shepard and Bowen and Combs, McLaughlin all taking this opportunity to come on pit road, and many for right side rubber. Not the story on the number 60. He'd been in a few laps ago.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't want to take a chance on jacking it up and changing the tires when he just changed them a few laps ago. Air wrench brakes or whatever, and it knocks you out of contention. The interesting thing, I think, will be to watch the 32 car, who's not quite as fast as the 60 car. And with Terry Labonte and some of these lap down cars right there with him, they're going to give it a real hard try to get that lap back, and they may be able to do it against Jarrett. He's got to conserve fuel, so he's going to have to be a little bit on the conservative side anyway.
32 car, Dale Jarrett comes down to the flag, and I think we're about 1 away from a start. Directly behind him, 1 away. But the big story here for many is Jeff Fuller. The Sunoco, number 47, in its finest performance to date. What a ride he is giving that rig. He has stayed up in the lead lap. He has driven smart and driven fast.
He has, and he's sitting there in second place. I know he's loving every minute of it. After yesterday, you know, you tear your primary car up and you got to get the old backup car out, and I know the crew's sitting over there thinking, golly, he's doing a great job. Forgot about yesterday already.
Saw the 57 there. That's Jason Keller, and he is back in 12th position. You have 10 cars in the lead lap as we prepare for this start, which will come as they come to lap 135. Jarrett first, Fuller, Martin, Purvis, Shepard, Bowen in 6th, Combs 7th, McLaughlin 8th, Rumley 9th, and Pearson 10th.
And Rumley, you know, is a nice spot, and he was one of the cars that spun down the front straightaway here just a minute ago. So he was on the lead lap, and he didn't lose the lap in that spin.
So
Some awfully strong horses on that outside line, Darrell, looking to get their lap back.
Well, you got that right.
Yep.
That 92 car has won a couple of races this year with Larry Pearson. He'll be giving it a go.
You bet.
It must be they have him just on the tail end of the lead lap because they're showing him on the lead lap, and that's not the way they're coming to the flag.
Right. Well, they just corrected that, Ken. They're showing him, as you say, on the tail end, but he's a lap down right now.
135 complete as we go back to racing.
And that Fuller car really, that 47 car really come off the second turn there and got a good jump on Pearson, and he's pulling Mark right along with him.
There you see Mark Martin in third place, right in front of him. That's Fuller in the 47. A graduate of the modified ranks. Guy who can really get it done.
And you know, Ken, they're not a big budget team. I mean, obviously Sunoco is a great sponsor, and they're a sponsor everybody knows. But that team is fairly new, fairly young, and they're really they're working hard just to establish themselves.
And they brought Sunoco over from the modified ranks. That was his sponsor when he ran the local short tracks.
And that's more of a regional sponsorship in those days than it was anything nationally. Yep. Second to Benson in laps completed this year. Benson's completed 96.1 going into today's race. And this guy, Jeff Fuller, is right there with him at 96.2.
Wow.
I mean, he's been careful, he's been methodical, but he can race. And right now, Mark Martin's.
That's how he got up there in the way like that. He's got a problem, I believe. Houston does.
Yeah, he's just dropped way down. Houston's going to pit. Everybody else is going to have clear running now.
Remember that 57 coming along up through Jason Keller. He's being shown one lap down, now in 10th position.
Boy, Jeff's not giving up anything to Mark. He's certainly not intimidated by him.
I don't think Jeff Fuller is intimidated by anybody. I've watched him run enough laps in a modified, and I don't think he can be intimidated.
Pretty hard to be a champion in modified and be intimidated.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a 4-car up against the wall. Ooh, he saved it.
Purvis headed all the way in the marbles. He was up in the loose stuff, and now he's slowing up.
Well, I think that the 3-car, the 92 car, one of those may have gotten into him just a tad and run him up the track. That's a shame because he's having a great run too. That's one of the best runs that Purvis has had on the Super Speedway.
Right behind the 57 is that 47. And now you look a little further back. Here's the 14. Terry Labonte being shown in 12th, a lap down. Just in front of him is Kenny Wallace. And that Wallace car is in 11th position.
You know, Ken, I believe Kenny Schrader's in trouble. I think he may be down a cylinder or something. He's backing up real quickly through the field right now as if he's got a problem of some kind.
60 laps away from a conclusion today. Mark Martin's had him covered from the outset. If you're just joining us, 5 cautions, 28 laps under yellow, 12 different leaders, 7 different leaders so far. And out of the race, well, I don't dare give you that one because it keeps changing. They keep working on those cars. Victim of an early crash was Chad Little. They went to work, got the car back out here. They're running like 60 laps down, but now Johnny Benson's in there. They're trying to put the back end on the number 74 together and get him back out. So the championship has not been decided. There you see the work continuing on Johnny Benson's number 74.
I don't know what Jeff Purvis's problem is, Ken, but he's holding up a bunch of cars, and it looks like he's in trouble.
McLaughlin trying to get by him on the outside. Doug Heveron down on the bottom.
His car, it doesn't seem to be handling quite as well as it was when he was running up there in the front.
Purvis is another of those drivers that's not entirely sure of what he's going to do yet in 1996. He has a bunch of opportunity, as well he should. He's one of the better drivers that doesn't have a regular deal going, and a bunch of people are looking at him, and he's looking at a bunch of opportunities, and I think we're going to see a lot of him in 1996.
Now there's another graduate of the modified ranks, McLaughlin up on the outside, and remember that McLaughlin stays fourth. Fuller and McLaughlin really carrying the colors for the modified folks who often feel a little shorted these days in the world of press. And ooh, wow, Laughlin loose, picks it back up. Now there was a short track.
Yeah. He's also driven some super modifieds, and those are about as squirrely as anything you can sit in.
Now Johnny Benson has just come back out. back in the race after that repair job, which consumed about 19 minutes. Look at this.
3 wide.
Almost 4.
Yeah.
Bill Parsons had to get out of it just a little bit. That track really narrows up right there as you come off that corner. You can come off there 3 wide, but you can't make the little bend in the track right there 3 wide. And Schrader's in the pits.
At lap 144, 26 laps down, Johnny Benson Jr. out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, is back in the race. Not only here today, but for that championship. And it will go on to Rockingham October 21st, and presumably to Miami November the 5th at the new Homestead track.
Schrader's gone behind the wall. Another typical 1995 day for Kenny Schrader. Boy, what a tough year he's had.
Well, he can't roll anything but snake eyes, can he, Darrell?
No.
He's had a tough year, and just a lot of mechanical problems. And it's a shame because being on the team that the teammates are winning every week or every other week anyway, and haven't even been able to get close. It's been difficult for Kenny to deal with.
Tom Peck in the 67 down there on the inside. He's in 23rd position fighting with Alton Sawyer, and got by him. The 3, the 57, the 92 coming through. 3, Jeff Green. The 92, Larry Pearson. That's for 13th spot.
Well, I'm sure it's not the kind of day that Jeff Green would like to have had. I'm sure he'd like to be running right up there in the front, but he's going to come out of here with a big gain in the point standing.
He wants to win a race more than anything else. He has not yet won it. I'll tell you what, when you're driving for Dale Earnhardt, who has won race after race after race, that's what you want to do, is win some.
Well, you got to groom them a little bit first.
Let's go back up front, folks. Dale Jarrett is leading in number 32, and Mark Martin in number 60 is in second. We're at lap 147 of 200 to be run here at Charlotte.
Speedway, the All-Pro bumper-to-bumper 300, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series, live on TBS Sports. I'm Rick Benjamin in the Duraloo Pit Communications Center. Great to have you with us here this afternoon. You might have noticed there's been a lead change coming up on 50 laps to go, and this race is back in the hands of Mark Martin, who got by Dale Jarrett moments ago. We're joined by pole sitter Bobby Donner. We'll talk with him in a moment. We can show you what happened here. This is going down into turn 3. You see Martin in his Winn-Dixie Ford. He takes a bead on Jarrett, who's a little higher on the racetrack, as Joe Waltrip has pointed out. Dale can't keep that car down low. Martin right down on the bottom, goes by, reclaiming the lead. Bobby Donner, you had a great qualifying run. What happened after that?
Well, the start of the race, the car was real good, the first 40 laps or so, and we just seemed to be getting a little loose. A lot of cars were having a problem pushing, but I was following the rear end up the track mostly, and we worked on it and got a little better there, and then the motor started to seem to slow down a little bit. Coming off the corner here in turn 4, the motor just all of a sudden seized up. When it did, Johnny got into the back of me, but it was nothing he could do.
Good luck to you the rest of the way, and next year, hope to see you back out here with us next year.
Well, thank you.
All right, that's the situation with Bobby Donner. Mark Martin, your leader, Ken Squire.
153 laps complete with Mark Martin as the leader. Getting down to showtime here. 47 laps to go. And Larry McReynolds can tell us more about that second place car, Dale Jarrett.
Ken, I talked to John Irvin, Dale's crew chief, and he said Dale's just really not commenting a lot on the radio about anything about the car. He did ask him, did they get some wedge out of the car a while ago, which means the car wasn't quite turning like it should. I don't believe fuel mileage is an issue. That last caution that they had, that definitely bought them the laps that they needed. So we just have to see how it unfolds. Okay, what you got down there, Randy?
Well, it was also another comment on Dale Jarrett just a couple laps ago. He did make the point that I want to be conservative, because if he has to finish with the tires that are on this car, he wants them to have a little more rubber than the ones that are on the 60 car. So Dale also being a little conservative, although Mark's the guy to beat right now.
And it appears that Pete Orr has just unfolded the engine in car number 88 as he comes back in. No caution on the track. Lap 155 of 200 to be run. Now, John Benson brought his car back on pit road. He was in here for several laps. He has now shown he was at 27 laps behind when he went back into the fray. He's now 31 laps down and running in 33rd position. And Chad Little, well, he's being shown in 38th position and running 80 laps down after that altercation very early in the event. Again, Benson has been in for more laps. He's back on the track. Both of the two gentlemen contending for the championship are out here getting some laps in, but the point battle is getting tighter another time. Let's get back to the front of the race. And right up there, you have Mark Martin leading, and Dick Berggren. Jarrett is second, and Fuller stays third.
Fuller's done such a good job this afternoon. He really has.
Behind him is Purvis, followed by McLaughlin, Bound, Combs, Rumley, and Shepard. 9 cars in the lead lap.
Ken, on the Little and Benson incidences there where Chad took his car in the garage and they stayed in there a long time, he's out passing cars now. He's actually running up to race speeds, Chad Little is. Where Benson got in and got out in a hurry, but he's going to have to go back in and do some more work. He's just trying to keep all those laps from accumulating between him and Chad Little.
7th place battle here. There you see the 43, Rodney Combs in that Pontiac, as he continues to fight with Johnny Rumley. Rumley's had a wild day out there, and Morgan Shepard moving around in the 21.
Shepard's got the spot.
Shepard on the outside taking the spot. One car. So credit Morgan Shepard up to what, 7th position now.
Yeah, he's having a good run. He led a little earlier, and he's having a real good run, Morgan is.
Hey, how about it, though, if you can get a rookie to win this race? Here's Jeff Fuller, who's leading the rookie standings over Curtis Markham. Curtis is out today. This is a big break for Fuller as he brings the number 47 through the complete lap 159. And he still stays in the top 3.
Yeah, right now all he needs to do is let that little crowd go by and fall in behind him and follow him, because he's not racing any of them. They're all lapped down. The next guy he's got to worry about is Jeff Purvis back there about a quarter of the straightaway.
Once again, you're riding with the budget gourmet car of Jason Keller, number 57. He's showing 13th position on the field.
You know, I don't know what happened to Purvis's car, Ken. It went kind of erratic on him there for a few laps. He lost a lot of time and a lot of position, but he's started to run well again now, and he's closing back up on Fuller, who's the 3rd place car.
Say, we don't want you to forget tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. It's the UAW GM Quality 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hope you'll be with us on TBS to enjoy it all. Old DW is going to give up the booth, going to go out there and try to contribute another run. Huh?
Yeah, but I got all the cameras, you know.
32nd position?
Sure, it's no problem.
Yeah. Stand by tomorrow. So, are you really ready for the feeling okay?
It's just a place to start, Ken. It's no big deal. That's what Chad Little said.
I was going to say, that's just exactly what Chad Little said, and look what happened to him.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe I learned something.
161 complete of 200 to be run here today at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, with Mark Martin in front. Jarrett still in second. Getting down toward decision time in the 300. 51 miles left to go in this one, coming up the NASCAR showcase. A lot of Jeff Gordon stuff, Darrell.
Oh,
going to be
yes.
up there today.
Oh, everybody's buying it. It's really a hot commodity.
All right. Well, you better be ready.
And they didn't just start either.
No, you don't need folding money
it all
today
either.
All right.
You know, Ken, I'm just anxious to see if Dale Jarrett is holding back just a little bit, or if Mark Martin's holding back a little bit, or which one of these cats is playing the cat, which one is playing the mouse. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in just about 10, 15 more laps.
Let me tell you how good that car is that's in the lead. That car has run 6 times so far in 1995. It won Michigan. It won Darlington. It was second at Richmond. They had 2 DNFs with it at Richmond. They also had a DNF at Atlanta, and it also had a 3rd at Darlington. So the worst it's finished is 3rd. Not bad.
Yeah, but you got to remember that Michigan, that was after Jarrett was disqualified.
Yeah, but he had to be in position to be able to do that.
Yeah. Give you. It is getting down to showtime here. Tell time more than that. And I'll tell you, the other impressive run that we keep referring back to is the number 47, Jeff Fuller, out of Auburn, Massachusetts.
Well, he's
modified
running good.
champion. And he is running well. He won 31 modified races when he took the national title back in, what, 91 or 92, Dick, somewhere in there. He is a flyer, and he's looking so good out here today. And as you were pointing out during the commercial break, this is not a track where he's had a lot of experience.
He has not had a lot of experience on super speedways, period. He has yet to ever finish in the top 10 on a super speedway. His best big track effort ever is an 11th at Daytona.
Let's get to the crew chief for number 32. That's Jarrett that's in the second spot. And Randy can fill us in from there.
Well, that's John Urban. He's currently chatting with Dale Jarrett. He's got the stopwatch on him as Dale Jarrett whistles around this racetrack. We'll see if we can get a quick word with John. You know what the question's going to be. Do you have anything for him? Can you get him?
I hope he's saving a little bit, but the car a little bit tight. But seems like when he cools the tires off a little bit, Randy, it helps a little bit. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, that's it from John Urban. We'll wait and see.
Big shadows going into turn number 1. Those shadows help you at all, Darrell?
No, not really, not yet. It's not terribly hot out here today, and that turn never gets the abuse that turn 3 and 4 does. The sun kind of lays off of that end of the speedway. If the shadows do anything, they're just a distraction as far as the driver is concerned.
30 laps to go.
Randy was just talking with John Urban, the crew chief for Dale Jarrett. You know, you don't even have to ask who the crew chief for Dale Jarrett is. He's been with him for all of his Busch Grand National races, and he said, I really didn't want to do that, but Ned just came to me, and I can't say no to Ned Jarrett. Ned asked him to do it, and he did it. In with Mark Martin's car now.
Larry McReynolds now standing by with Mark Martin's crew chief.
Again, I'm standing here with Bobby Leslie, crew chief for Mark Martin. Bobby pretty easily took the lead back. You got about 25 to 30 laps to go. Got a pretty comfortable lead. Can you hold that 32 car off, though?
I don't know. He's pretty close, and 30 laps to go. I believe Dale's laying back there until about 10 laps to go, and he'll make a run. But Mark's doing a great job, and we got our fingers crossed.
Is Mark making any comments about the car?
No, he never really talks when he's in the lead. He just keeps going and going. He'll be fine till about 10 laps to go, and then he'll say something.
We'll just see how it goes. Now, the interesting thing that could happen here is if a caution comes, we'll see how it would unfold then.
See those shadows? That's in turn number 1. 27 laps now remaining in the event. Riding with Mark Martin as he hurdles down that back stretch. How fast, Darrell, in a Grand National car?
In a Grand National car, probably 180. In a Winston Cup car, 190. So about 10 miles difference on the straightaway alone. But through the corner, same speed.
And this thing is far from over. Even though Mark Martin looks as strong as he does, he has started 17 Charlotte Grand National races up until today, won only one of them, and he's DNF'd in 9 of them. Jack Roush looked at my notes this morning and said, gee, I don't think we DNF that often.
Johnny Benson back out again. And remember what the point story is. That's the big one here today. If it ended now, you'd have Benson in front 33.70 to Chad Little's 31.38. Little's the one that's flying at the present time. And the difference in position of the track, Benson is now shown as 31st, 33 laps down, and Chad Little up to 35th. He keeps taking back from those cars that are just moseying around out there. As Darrell pointed out a few moments ago, as we come to 25 laps to go, there you see the 23. It's the other side that really is abused. He's flying.
That's the 7th place car that he's run up on there, and it's going to pass. So they got his car put back together, you know, just like it was when it started the race, other than a little bit of the body damage that he suffered there. But the chassis is all right.
Look at the other side of this thing. And that 05, Chuck Bound, first time since Martinsville in '93, he's had himself a chance at a lead lap. Good to see him back.
Well, those boys, Chuck and Jimmy and the whole crowd, I mean, they work hard, and their dad's a part of that team. They're a real family operation. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them do well.
Somebody's missing the boat by not picking up Chuck Bound in 1996. I'll tell you what, he had that crash at Pocono, and people were wondering, well, can he do it? Can he not do it? We tell you what, he has shown us all today that he can do it. Here's a driver that can get the job done. Somebody ought to pick him up next year.
Well, we keep talking about this eye thing, and everybody forgets it. And that Pocono crash when Sterling got into the back end of him and he went into the first turn wall. I mean, his vision for a year was affected, and he said I get up to 80 miles an hour, and it begins to get blurry on me, and I'm not going out. But it was both eyes. One eye far more than the other, however. Scary thing for him, and now he's back, and as Dick Berggren says, looking good. Somebody needs to give this guy a serious look for next year.
He impressed me when he saved that thing off turn 4 there earlier today when they went 3 wide.
Yep. Break coming up. We're at 178. That means we're down to what? About 22 to finish this one off, with Mark Martin still in front and Jarrett right there in second. 19 laps remain, just 28.5 miles to decide this one, and Mark Martin is in front. looking to win again. Won here in '93. Winn-Dixie Ford in first. And behind him comes Dale Jarrett in the second position. And for the moment, as you can see, he's stretching it out a bit over second place.
Yeah, 3 wide there. Look at this.
Whoa.
Oh.
Chad Little right in the middle of that sandwich in the number 23. He was sandwiched into the wall early if you're just joining us. Pretty much had hopes destroyed for that championship battle with Benson, but then Benson got torn up, so they're both back out there. Rear enders on the field. Benson in 28th now, and Chad Little shown in 35th. The latest on the 182 lap rundown from NASCAR.
You know, when you're Chad Little, I know this may not sound appropriate, but he probably wishes that it had ended today. Then he could go to Rockingham and to Miami and just raced and didn't have to worry about the championship. So this is kind of like a little agony to go along with the defeat.
Yeah. Third place right here. This is Purvis in the number 4, challenging Jeff Fuller for third. The Auburn, Massachusetts racer on the outside. Purvis brings it down. The Tennessee driver ready to take a shot here and try to take third spot away. Purvis has had an up and down day. Nice move by Fuller to retain third spot there.
Big difference in the way these guys got to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Virtually all of Fuller's training came in asphalt cars, whereas Purvis came this route on the dirt tracks. Both doing a great job today.
They really are, and that Fuller car is fast. He's fast down the straightaway. He pulls a little bit on Jeff down the straightaway.
Mark Reno, the crew chief on this car, number 4. A lot of experience. Good man. You see Johnny Benson's car coming at you. Johnny Benson bent up in the back, right side of Chad Little's car, all chewed up after it clobbered the wall in the main straightaway. Benson moving over, giving room down the top side to this fight for third. Just can't say enough about Jeff Fuller. Doesn't have that much experience on a super speedway, but he hasn't missed a beat all day.
No, and he's working hard right now to hold on to that third place, I tell you.
Take a look at this struggle between number 3 and 8. This is for 12th spot. Jeff Green and Kenny Wallace at it here.
There's a couple of hard racers. Some more of the brothers. The Green brothers and the Wallace brothers. And a lot of brothers. Terry and Bobby. Michael and Darrell.
Yeah, one time we had Terry and Bobby up there together in the Winston Cup standings this year. It's quite a story. Tomorrow's going to be a big story, folks. Hope you're going to be with us to enjoy it all. It's going to be Ricky Rudd on the pole and Ricky Craven outside of the front row for the running of the 500 tomorrow here at Charlotte. Hope you can be with us to enjoy it if you can't be here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Getting right down to it, and you just know that Fuller is very well aware that this race is almost over and that he's got this position, and he is going to do absolutely everything he can to keep Purvis back there. Going to use up as much racetrack as possible.
Well, there's 2 guys driving that 47 car right now. Fuller and his spotter.
Yeah.
Go high. No, go low. Cut him off.
And their cars are going to be about 10 feet wide for the last 10 laps. I'm sure of that because he has had plenty of practice at it.
Here's the 99, Phil Parsons, closing in on Doug Heveron another time. The 35 and the 99 squaring off back. Let's see, that's 17th spot for Phil Parsons.
I think that 57 car just gave up the fight. I heard it just raising Kane as it went by here this last time.
Their scoring sheets have got the drivers who have dropped out of the race pictured in red. And we are getting fairly close to about half the field pictured in red, which is very typical for Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, large deficit.
Yep.
Take a look at Purvis moving in. Purvis is smooth, and he is ooh. He's waiting his time. Now he's making his move into turn 3. Jeff Purvis sticks it in there. Back on the outside comes 47, Jeff Fuller. But Purvis, for the moment, has it covered with 10 laps to go. More on this story. Let's go to Mr. McReynolds.
I had talked to the Jeff Fuller crew just a few laps ago, and they said Jeff wasn't saying a whole lot on the radio. He was just concentrating on trying to drive his line. He had earlier complained about it being a little bit loose, and the thought was if Purvis could get close enough to him to realize that, that would just be what Purvis needed to get by him.
pride of Clarksville, Tennessee. One of those Neil Bonnet graduates out there. That's Jeff Purvis in the 4.
He'll be racing over at Nashville next weekend in that all-pro race there, the big All-American 400. Purvis has always run strong over there, won it a couple of years ago.
Boy, once he got by Fuller, he has just taken off. Purvis now in 3rd spot and got it solidly.
6 cars in the lead lap. Give you those top 6. We get down to the final moments of this one. 192. 8 to go. Martin first, Jarrett second, Purvis third, Fuller back to 4th, McLaughlin 5th, and Shepard in 6th. That's the rundown on the cars in the lead lap. In 7th, Chuck Bound. Rumley is 8th, followed by Larry Pearson. Then comes the 14 of Terry Labonte in 10th. These are all 1 lap down. Behind that comes the 8 of Kenny Wallace, then Jeff Green, Combs, Fidois 14th, LaJoy 15th, LePage, Parsons, Keller in 17th, a lap down, then 2 laps down is Heveron in the 35 car. And again, those cars that are 2 laps off. And it's your leader, Mark Martin.
And I bet he's thinking about all those DNFs he's had at Charlotte. I should, by the way, redeem myself and redeem Jack Roush to a bunch of those DNFs came before Mark Martin ever hooked up with Jack Roush. He's run very, very well with Roush since he has come together with him.
Worried about your welcome in the garage area?
Yeah, you bet I am. No, I just want to set it straight, because sometimes you can say things quickly up here. I want to make it very clear as to what's going on.
Little bottle up there in turn 4, and Larry Pearson really had to get on the binders. He almost came up over the top of Chuck Bound's number 05. Had to woe it down serious.
Well, there's a big difference in speed. A lot of these cars out here right now, some of them are just kind of limping around trying to make it to the finish, and some guys are racing for a position, so there's a lot going on out there right now.
And I would presume that what you said at the outset today about those guys that are really capable, those Winston Cup guys with all that experience, this is where it pays off in this 300-mile test.
It really does. You kind of know how to pace yourself, how to stay out of trouble, and that makes a big difference in the end of this deal.
So compound it by 200 miles tomorrow, what have you got?
Well, you just got to have some more of the same, but you got to be a little bit better at it, because there'll be a whole bunch of them out there that know how to do the same thing you do.
And Larry Pearson has just taken over 2nd spot by passing Chuck Bound. Bound slips now to 8th position. Both those cars are just 1 lap down.
57, Keller in 18th position on pit road for fuel. And out again. Just gets a whisper, and he's back in it for the last 4 laps.
You see our camera on the roof of his car, that little tiny bubble on the roof of the car. That's the in-car camera that you've seen all afternoon.
Heveron getting lapped by Mark Martin. On his way. Counting down the laps on Mark Martin to win. In the Busch Grand National All-Pro 300, the national championship battle continues at Rockingham at the Rock, October the 21st, and down to Miami, Homestead, Florida. Mile and a half. You seen that track yet?
I haven't seen it, but they've got a big practice coming up. And in the drivers' meeting this morning, NASCAR said, how many of you guys are going to the practice? And virtually every hand in that garage went up in the air. I'll tell you what, there is so much interest in that Homestead race. It's a big, big deal down there.
Big, big track.
It is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
hey, who wouldn't want to go to Miami this time of year?
Yeah,
you know, by the time the race comes around, it'll be kind of pleasant down that way.
Yeah. A couple of laps to go here this afternoon as Mark Martin has had him covered almost from the outset.
Terry Labonte just now passed Chuck Bound for what, their 7th place?
They had him, for 8th place.
8th place.
8th place.
So there's, even though the race is 2 laps from being over, there's still a lot of people racing hard for position.
Won this race in 1993 when he started 5th.
White flag.
Going to do it again today after starting 3rd. Looking for his 20th Grand National win at the end of this 1.5 mile jaunt around the famed Charlotte Motor Speedway. 24-degree banking down in turns 3 and 4 for the last time today. He'll be back tomorrow with over 40 Winston Cup stars in the running of that 500-mile race we hope you'll be here to enjoy. Here comes Mark Martin in first. Putting a lap on Kevin LePage. No, just tucking in behind him as he comes to the line. LePage will wind up in 16th this afternoon. And Mark Martin accepts the checkers. Mark Martin has done it again. Win number 20 in Grand National Racing for the Winn-Dixie Ford. We'll meet the man from Batesville in just a moment. Here comes a pretty good fight down out of the corner as they come to the stripe. Let's see if Jeff Purvis is going to persevere. Yep, he holds it off. Jeff Purvis across the line third.
Beginning Wednesday, the miniseries that captured the imagination of America. Tommy Lee Jones, Robert Duvall, and Angelica Houston. Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. Beginning Wednesday at 8:05 Eastern, turn to TBS.
Maybe you'll get a MasterCard so you can use one card for practically everything. Maybe you'll get one because no card is more accepted. Or maybe you'd just like to save 15% on that altimeter compass stopwatch. Presenting Master Values, immediate savings on all kinds of things. Because while MasterCard can make your life easier, saving around $1,000 on a Royal Caribbean cruise couldn't hurt. Look for your MasterCard invitation in the mail and apply today.
In Normal, Illinois, Gene Goebel is popular with folks who need their car fixed. He does good work, and he doesn't charge an arm and a leg. Because when he needs auto parts, Gene buys a lot of them at AutoZone. You see, the prices are low every day at AutoZone. So a lot of good mechanics like Gene just pass the savings on to their customers. Plus, they can still get the best quality parts. Sure, they know how to do the work right, but they also know how to save money doing it at AutoZone.
There's Kenny Wallace on the Red Dog Thunderbird, turning speedways into dog tracks.
NASCAR is on TBS. Gordon, Martin, Marlin, and Earnhardt. The Winston Cup stars take the track at Charlotte. The UAW GM 500, 1 Eastern tomorrow. You're on the circuit with TBS.
Well, we're just about set to go down and meet the winner today, Mark Martin, but over here is the old Icky Shuffle. He begins to, you notice that, Dick? He begins to jump on one foot and he has, I gotta go. And that's because happy hour's coming up. Winston Cup practice for DW. Hey, it's been great having you up here this afternoon.
Well, it was a great race and a lot of great runs here by people that we don't see up front all the time. Purvis, Fuller, McLaughlin, and on down here, Rumbly, who spun down the front straight with Chuck Bound. I had a ball today. This was a fun race to do. You guys are a lot of fun to work with. You want to be on my pit crew tomorrow?
Yeah, right, sure. Yeah, you want to lose the race? We've got to get to victory lane. Thanks, DW. Have a great happy hour out here and a good run tomorrow.
Yeah, you bet.
Down to victory circle.
Well, Mark Martin has climbed from his Winn-Dixie Ford. This car found its way home because that's where it belongs in victory lane. It's here so often. And again today, Mark, congratulations on a great run.
Yeah, it was a really good run for us today. We had some good pit stops, and the car really handled good. Dale Jarrett gave us a run for our money. He ran us hard, but, you know, there weren't very many cautions, and that played in our hands. The longer we'd run, the stronger this thing got. I mean, it was just awesome the last, from lap 60 to lap 80 on tires. Man, you could just check out on them.
Okay, can you preview tomorrow for us in your Ford, the Valvoline Ford, have a shot at that one as well?
Yeah. You know, we'll have a work cut out for us. We got to beat those Monte Carlos and those real good Fords. There's a bunch of real good Fords in there, too. The car is working as well as this car, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, congratulations on today. Now let's go to Larry McReynolds. Larry?
All right, I'm here with second-place finisher Dale Jarrett. Dale showed some strong muscle early, but just didn't quite have enough there at the end, did you?
No, we didn't, Larry. Just the car got too tight. I was really too tight the whole time, and Mark was just playing with me. He could have gone on out there and walked off, I believe, if he wanted to. But I'm proud of this Mac Tools team. They did a good job, and, you know, finished second. Mark's always strong. Probably had a little bit too big a sway bar in there, something that we couldn't change. We tried to adjust on it a little bit, but just not quite enough.
Okay, I was going to ask you, I got a personal interest in this. Did you learn anything when you fly to tomorrow?
Yeah, we got something we learned there, so we can go to work over here and see if we can't get that Texaco Haviland Ford in victory lane tomorrow.
All right, we're both going to go to work, and we've had a good time today.
All right. Thank you so much, Larry McReynolds. Doesn't he do a great job?
He does a wonderful job, and I've done that stuff on pit road, and I'll tell you what, it's hard to do, and McReynolds is fabulous.
Wonderful insight. All right, we're going to take a break. The Winston Cup cars are coming out for that final hour of practice to decide everything for tomorrow. Just exactly the settings they want to go for 500 miles. Hope you're going to be here to see it. We'll be back in a moment. Back with you another time here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, celebrating the victory of Mark Martin over Dale Jarrett, Purvis, McLaughlin, Fuller, and Shepard. And some new names out here. McLaughlin and Fuller, and what a great job. And Purvis, of course, the Tennessee driver. And Steve Burns is standing by right now with a very excited and well-deserved excited for Jeff Purvis.
Well, Jeff, what a run. You started 39th, I believe, finished third. It would have been interesting if you'd caught a caution late in the race. Could you have gotten by the 60?
I don't really think so. You know, this Codex Fun Saver crew gave me a great race car, and I think the rear spoiler hurts us. I'm a little bit loose getting in the corner where they could get on in the corners better than I could. And, you know, the Fords, they gave them a little bit more spoiler. But, you know, we can't complain. We run third and had a good day. We didn't tear the car up. There's a lot of cars torn up. But, you know, no matter how if we'd have won this race, we lost a good friend here this weekend, Russell Phillips. We called him Bubby. And it's, you know, it's hard to explain how bittersweet this is. It's, you know, I want his family to know we're thinking of him. And we're going to come see all the family here just as soon as this is over with this afternoon. And no matter if we'd have won the race, it still would have been bitter for us. But we just want to let them know we're thinking of them.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Jeff Fuller has had an outstanding day today in the Sunoco machine. Jeff, congratulations. Big smile on your face, deservedly so. Great run.
Thanks a lot. The guys really worked their tail off this week. I did the same deal I did in May here. We wrecked the primary car in practice, and I think we're gonna do that from now on. Just leave the primary car in the trailer and bring the backup car out, because we had a good run in May, and we just had another good run. And you know, after you do something like that, crash a car real hard and junk it dwells on you a little bit about where you did it. You know, like coming out of 4 and what the people are thinking. But the crew never gave up on me. Sunoco never gave up. And you know, after the run we just had here, I know up here that I'm all set too. So that was a big accomplishment in a lot of different ways.
How do you take a backup car like that and make it run as well as it did today?
I think that it's because of their experience. I really do. I mean, they work real good together. They've had excellent equipment underneath me all year. And I mean, if I had done it, I would have said it was luck. But I think it's skill on there. I better say that to make some brownie points.
Okay, congratulations on a great run. We've just heard from 2 young drivers they're going to be reckoned with in this series for the next few years to come.
Wonderful talent. And let's not leave out McLaughlin. And remember that McLaughlin got by Fuller just at the end of that one. Gee, what a great race they gave us. And let's not forget for a moment that yesterday in that sportsman event, 26-year-old Russell Phillips, making his 16th start here at Charlotte, lost his life in turn number 4. He, more than anything, would like to be part of this group. And speaking on behalf of everyone in the racing fraternity was the voice of Jeff Purvis. Russell Phillips lost yesterday, Mint Hill, North Carolina. To his wife, Jennifer, and to his family and friends, our condolences.
The All-Pro Bumper to Bumper 300 has been brought to you by...
Rexford was the first. In 1964, Richard Petty began constructing his legend, winning his first of 7 Winston Cups at the age of only 27. Fast forward to 1984. Maturity and consistency propel a 28-year-old Texan, Terry Labonte, to his championship at the wheel of a Billy Hagan Monte Carlo. Now it's 1995, the year of Jeff Gordon, only 24 years old. Jeff each week keeps getting closer and closer to achieving his dream of being crowned Winston Cup champion this year. Welcome live to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Concord, North Carolina, for today's UAW GM Quality 500 on TBS Sports. Great to have you with us on a beautiful afternoon. We have a packed house for racing, the annual fall date here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Rick Benjamin in the STP Pit Communications Center, and we're flying down to the STP PCC this afternoon. You can see our logo there on top of the tent. That's where we are, and we'll be covering a host of stories for you this afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. You know, this is a great event always in the fall. The season is drawing to a close. A lot of drivers with a lot at stake. One team going for 3 in a row at Charlotte. The Joe Gibbs team, the 18 car. Bobby Labonte trying to back up his May win with a win today. One of the other stories, Ricky Rudd wants retribution after what he thought was a sure win last weekend at North Wilkesboro. Let's get more on those stories with Ken Squire.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. Getting down to the end of the season, just 3 races left to go. Jeff Gordon has a good day today here in Charlotte, and with that 302-point advantage, they pretty much say it's his. But strange things can happen to you at Charlotte. Take, for instance, last year, right down to the final moments of the race, battling for 7th place, and away we go. Ricky Rudd and Gordon in the wall. Had that been this year, well, it could be a whole different story in the point battle. But for the moment, Gordon is the man to beat as we come here to Charlotte, North Carolina, in this 500-mile event. And to Dick Berggren, the issue seems to be there's a lot more to this race than winning.
Yeah, and a lot more to winning a championship as well. It takes a good car every week, great crew chief, great driving, and one more element. Let's look at a champion's luck. 1994, Martinsville. Earnhardt spins. Wilkesboro, he hits the wall. Both times it's top 10 and a championship. 1995, Gordon has the same good luck. Here he misses one in Virginia, finishes 7th, and nurses an ill-handling car to 3rd last week. And luck shifted last week for Earnhardt. Trickle's engine blows. Earnhardt quits the pits expecting the yellow. That never came. That cost a lap and a good finish. And last May, Gordon didn't have a champion's luck at Charlotte. Today could be Earnhardt's chance. Will he roll 7s or snake eyes?
Folks, you can bet on one thing. You're going to see some of the most exciting racing ever, because Dale Earnhardt, 7-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion, had to take a provisional. He'll be starting from the back of the field. And folks, there's nothing more exciting than watching Dale Earnhardt come through traffic. But Dale, you've got a lot of traffic to come through.
That's sort of like a wild card in football or something, isn't it, or baseball, whatever. Coach Landry was just down here and gave me a little play, and we'll do a little fake and a little play. I think we can work our way to the... I'm going to go long. Definitely going to have to go long here.
Dale, did you get the car better in the last practice?
I think we did. We're pretty comfortable with it. Andy and I, we've worked with it, and David Smith and the guys, and we'll see what we can do. I think we're okay. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a day of you just got to persevere over what's in front of you here and work toward it. We started 38th here in the spring, or this race last year, matter of fact, and finished 3rd. But there's a lot of good race cars up through there.
Good luck, Dale. Let's go further up pit road to Randy Pemberton.
Well, thank you, Steve Burns. Jeff Gordon leads the 1995 Winston Cup Tour in just about every conceivable statistical category. But you have one more thing, Jeff, to add to your resume, and that's the 1995 Winston Cup. But first, you have to get through Charlotte. How do you get through the race? How do you win?
Well, the same way we have the last 12 or 14 races, and that's just consistency in the pits and on the racetrack. And, you know, we just got to stay out of trouble. It's easy to say that, but it's not so easy to go out there and do it. So we're gonna go out there, see what the car's got to offer us. But it's a long race. It's not as long as a 600, but a 500-mile race here is a pretty long time. If we can be there at the end and be in contention, you know, we'll put this thing up in the top 5. If it's capable of winning, we're going to take it to the front.
Okay, take your time and have a great day out there.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, now let's go topside to Ken Squire. Ken?
So how to win on this 1.5 miles? Who better to ask than the man who decimated the field in 1993, leading all but 6 of the 334 laps in car number 28. Ernie Irvin, first, it's wonderful to see you back at North Wilkesboro running so well last week. Look forward to seeing you again in action a week from now. But for today, here at Charlotte, how do you win in this 500-miler?
Well, I tell you, if I knew that exactly, I could package that and sell it for a lot of money. But, you know, how you win at Charlotte is have a great motor. But the main thing is to having a great motor is getting through the corners. And like Larry McReynolds gives me, normally you get a great chassis and you get going really fast. That makes your straightaway speed look really good.
So, it's got to be a motor and a chassis and a whale of a driver like you find in Ernie Irvin. Another great driver is standing by with another of our reporters down on pit road. Delighted to have Barry Dotson with us today.
Hey, I'm by Ricky Rudd's Tide Ford. It seems every time there's controversy, he steps it up to the next level. Like he did here last year after he crashed with Jeff Gordon. He went to Rockingham. He sat on the pole. Last week, he had some controversy at North Wilkesboro in a pit stop that was very crucial that could have cost him the race. He's on the pole again. He's got a very good shot at winning the race today if they do everything right. This Tide team is going to come out with their guns blazing. Ken, back to you.
Thank you very much, Barry. Moments ago, the Road Warrior in action. Oh, yes. It's time to start the show at Charlotte, North Carolina.
The UAW GM 500 is brought to you by Beechwood Age.
Live and the motors have fired here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, ready to bring you the UAW GM Quality 500 today, live on TBS Sports. I'm Rick Benjamin at the STP Pit Communication Center. Pleased to have you with us. This should go a long way today towards settling who will hold the Winston Cup in December come the trip to New York City. First today, we'd like to show you our AutoZone race analysis. We're on a 1.5 mile tri-oval. We'll go 500 miles, which is 334 laps here at Charlotte. 24 degrees, the bank in the corners, and the drivers running today for more than $1.2 million in prize money. Again, 43 cars. Now, here are the times. We told you that the speeds have slowed down quite a bit this year because of the weather primarily. Ward Burton was 5 miles an hour quicker last year when he took the pole for this race. Ricky Rudd this year, 180.5 miles an hour. Dale Jarrett, the defending winner today. He's got a different car to drive. He'll be one of the favorites. And Darrell Waltrip goes off today with the most career wins at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, 6 Winston Cup victories. Our Chevrolet course description. We're on this 1.5 mile, beautiful oval here you see with the tri-oval in the front part of this track. 1,360 feet, more than a 1/4 mile long backstretch. The front stretch even longer than that, closing in on 3/8 of a mile down the main straightaway. Our turns are banked 24 degrees, leading to these 180+ mile-an-hour speeds that we race at here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ken Squire, 43 cars ready to do battle for us here this afternoon.
Command has been given to fire them up, and we're ready to give you the starting order for this 36th annual 500. Here's the Haviland starting grid. It's Ricky Rudd for the pole at 180, his 23rd pole, and his first at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ricky Craven, the rookie from New England, starts beside him. In row 2, the point leader and 7-time winner this season, Jeff Gordon's there with Michael Waltrip in the Pontiac. Going to row 3, Mark Martin, the 1992 winner, and Morgan Shepherd. For row 4, it's Todd Bodine and Terry Labonte, a 3-time winner this season. Row 5 is Bobby Hamilton and the sophomore from Virginia, Ward Burton. Row 6 is Jeremy Mayfield and Dick Trickle. In row 7, it's Jeff Burke and Sterling Marlin, the 2-time Daytona champion. Row 8, Joe Nemechek and John Andretti. In row 9, it's Ted Musgrave alongside Kyle Petty, who scored a win in the 600 back in '87. For row 10 today, Robert Presley on the inside, and on the outside, the 1988 winner, Rusty Wallace. Row 11, that'll be Hutch Strickland and Brett Bodine. Row 12 is Bobby Hillen Jr. and Bobby Labonte, the winner here this past May. Row 13 is Dave Marcus, his 53rd start at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Lake Speed. For row 14, Loy Allen Jr. Alongside is Bill Elliott, the 84 and 87 champion of the UAW GM 500. Row 15, Ken Schrader, the 89 winner of this Autumn Classic, and Gary Bradbury. Row 16 is Dale Jarrett, defending champion of the event, and Darrell Waltrip, the 6-time winner on this track. Row 17, Greg Sachs and Jeff Bodine, who took it in 1991. Row 18, Rick Mast and Jimmy Spencer. Row 19, Steve Grissom and Jimmy Hensley. For row 20, it's Derek Koch and Mike Wallace. And among the provisional starters, back in 41st position, Elton Sawyer with Rich Bickle alongside, and 43rd on the field. A chance to make some history today. Dale Earnhardt ready to go to work. Earnhardt coming from 43rd spot, and if the balloons go up and the field rolls out, remember that only twice before has a man come from 43rd to win. Johnny Mance, 1950, Southern 500 from 43rd. And back in the 50s, 53, down at Raleigh, they used to have a mile track. Ran at night, too.
Well, Earnhardt also in 1986 came from 2 laps down during the race to win here.
But not from 43rd.
No.
Buddy Flock was the one that won that race at Raleigh, North Carolina. Looking at Loy Allen, as he's giving you some views from his car, starting in 27th position today. Here you see Ken Schrader, and he is starting in the field at 29th, Budweiser Chevrolet. That's Ken Schrader, hoping to get back on the winning side. Been a long time for him without a taste of champagne in victory lane. Here's Mark Martin. He's getting ready to start from the 5th position today in the Valvoline Ford. Take a look at his roof cam here. Mark Martin starting 5th.
Now, Mark won here yesterday, and they've taken that same setup from the Grand National car that won and put it underneath this Winston Cup car. Here's the view from Mark Martin's trunk, looking backwards now at the field. Terry Labonte in the 5 just outside him.
Here's Bill Elliott, well back in the field, starting 28th today in the McDonald's Ford. The view out front. And as you look out back, here you are with Bill Elliott looking at this tremendous crowd on a perfect weather day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Brett Bodine in the Lowe's Ford. He'll start 22nd. Give us some pictures, complete with elephant. There's some of the elephants he's got to get around before this day's over.
Did he have the elephant hanging in the dash?
That was Jeff Bodine. Forgive me, Jeff Bodine starting 34th in car number 7, the Excite Ford. And here's Darrell Waltrip in the number 17, starting 32nd in the Western Auto Chevrolet.
They've got the field broken into 2 groups so the cars can set their tachometers so they won't be speeding on pit road. Your bumper view out of Darrell Waltrip's car. Well, that's a nice shot, isn't it? Out low like that.
Oh, we've got another Bodine here. Here is Brett Bodine. The Pink Panther ready to work in the Lowe's Ford, starting 22nd. That's that second group of cars. So there's some of the pictures we'll give you. There's Brett Bodine looking back. You see Bobby Hillen down on the inside there. 1 lap, and they're going to be ready to take off here and get it done today. About to bring this field back together and start the 36. UAW GM 500 record for the event, 154.537. Guy sitting right here on the right, Ernie Irvin, pulled it off in 93. Well, here's Earnhardt pitting a little early. Let's see if we can find out from Randy as to why.
Not a problem, Ken, but they figured, heck, we ran about 3 laps under caution here prior to this green coming out in this 500-miler. They're going to go ahead and top it off of fuel. That'll give them about a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps on the field in case this thing goes green. Well, it wasn't much of a splash. That was less than a second. So probably not much of an advantage, but anything they can get, they'll take. Earnhardt's going to rejoin them, get ready to start this race.
Well, I tell you, they didn't have anything to lose. He was dead last anyway, so just take every advantage that they could come up with.
And remember, here in the spring, he ran short on fuel and had to pit right at the very tail end and lost a terrific finishing spot as a result.
Said this morning, the nice thing about starting last is, hey, if I'm late for the driver's meeting, what can they do? I'm already last. Now, that's the folks that failed to qualify. Chad Little didn't make it. Jeff Purvis, Billy Standridge, Kenny Wallace, Del McCoward among those not in today's field as we get ready to rumble.
5 rookies in the top 10 qualifiers for this race. Craven, Waltrip, Todd Bodine, I shouldn't say rookies, never won. Ward Burton, those guys have never won a Winston Cup race, and they are all starting in the top 10 today.
Ricky Craven on the outside. Out of Newburgh, Maine, Ricky Rudd from Chesapeake, Virginia brings the field down. 36th annual 500. The fall Oktoberfest here at Charlotte, North Carolina is underway, and Craven takes that Waddell Wilson car up to the point and away by 6 car lengths.
I'll bet you they post Ricky Craven on that deal. I kind of did that at Sears Point one time. Black flag's going to come out.
Yes, indeed. A little bit of a jump. Black flag is in the starter's hands. They're checking to make sure they've got the right number.
Yep. They're doing it.
Too much of a leap.
Basically, Ricky Rudd was the one that was supposed to start the race. It didn't matter if the green flag came out, anything. Ricky Rudd is the one that had to take off.
So I'm sure they're on the radio with Craven right now. He'll have to come in. Rudd is running in second. You see Michael Waltrip, and he's dropping down to the inside.
That's a rookie mistake. He'll learn.